Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, especially for you, okay? Because I'm here for you to go over this latest movie here tonight, okay? So, hey, it's almost the freaking weekend, everybody. So kick back, all right? Relax, ease your mind. It's Thursday nights. We're on the cusp of another weekend. And, hey, if the boss has been on your ass, you know, the man's got their boot on your throat and they just won't let up. And I can relate, especially today. Yeah. Hey, you know what? This is your time to relax. All right. So you're almost through it. The light at the end of the tunnel is right over there. Okay. You're almost there. And so this episode of Movies Merica, spoiler warning, should help, okay, as we go over the last voyage of the Demeter. Yes, the latest Dracula movie that Hollywood has sprung upon us, okay? The most recent Dracula movie that has arisen from the dead. Or I guess not risen from the dead because, hey, you know, Dracula, he is the undead, right? Definitely want to encourage you to get in the live chat, okay? Live chat with me, okay? That's what this show is all about, is us having a discussion about the latest movies. Okay. And, you know, you get on YouTube and Rumble and whatever, and you've got all kinds of shows that have, you know, reviews, spoiler filled or spoiler free. And you don't get to talk back with them, right? You don't get to have a conversation with them. You don't get to have that dialogue with them. It's just, they just slap their show up on YouTube or Rumble. And that's it. You just watch their show and that's it. There's no interaction. All right. So no back and forth. But that's the thing that's different about this show is, yeah, you can live chat back with me, okay, through Rumble or YouTube. And, ask me any questions, have any comments about last voyage of the Demeter. Boy, knock yourself out, okay? Or if you just want to join the live chat and, hey, just put a poop emoji in there or say hi or a thumbs up or something like that. That's cool as well. And then also, hey, you know, if you want to support me, but you don't want this movie spoiled for you, feel free to, you know, have this, you know, bring this up and then just mute it. Okay. So you don't hear anything I say. And the show is, the movie will not be spoiled for you. Okay. All right. So I think I have talked that to death. So, hey, you know what? Let me give you guys something to dance to.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
That's right. That's right. Get on in here, everybody. Get on in here, especially my movie maniacs. Yeah, and especially my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, okay? If you're tuning into this show, that's what you are. You're movie maniacs or you're freedom-fueled film fanatics, okay? So come at me, all right? Join me. Join me in this show, okay? And you know what? Hey, that's how we roll around here. Yep, exactly. So, so I'm going to just go over some movie points about the last voyage of the Demeter, okay? And then in the live chat, feel free to get in here and, hey, let me know what you think about the movie, comments, and that kind of thing. Just say hi. And, hey, we've got Agent X6 here in the live chat from Rumble saying, yo. And then Darth Jason with a, howdy, sir. How you doing? Howdy, cowpokes. Welcome to the old live chat here in the Movies Merica spoiler warning. I want to hear from you, okay? I appreciate you guys joining up here. We'll just get right into the movie here. And I think that one of the things that I like about Bram Stoker's Dracula here is that it gets so in depth. I always liked the part of the novel here where they talk about the Demeter and Dracula being transported from Romania to London via, the Demeter here. And it just intrigued me. And up until this movie, there really hadn't been a movie that went over this part of the, over Bram Stoker's Dracula novel whatsoever. You heard like little pieces and parts of it, mentioned, particularly like Francis Ford Coppola's, Bram Stoker's Dracula movie that came out in 1992. They had a little snippet in there about, where they had, I think Anthony Hopkins was reading off the captain's log and talking about how we've got the Dracula's being transported over and how he's basically he took out the whole crew and whatnot. So it's a little piece of it right there. So looks like Darth Jason. Looks like we got Rumblades again. So with that, so this movie really fleshes out that part of Bram Stoker's Dracula novel, and it doesn't just mention the Demeter. It goes over, as you've seen, if you've seen the movie, you get the gypsies, that are servant or subservient to Dracula, or some of the local townsfolks that are subservient to Dracula. They're transporting all these crates, from Castle Dracula, and transporting them down to the port of Varna is the name of the city that we see there at the beginning of this movie. And so I believe Varna is in Romania. Don't quiz me on that. I could be totally wrong on that. But yeah, they're transporting the crates full of dirt and Dracula down to Varna. And we see the Demeter ported there at Varna, and we see Liam Cunningham as was a Captain Bligh. It's not Captain Bligh, but it's whatever. Captain Wilson. We're going to call him Captain Wilson. Captain Eliot. That's what it is. So he's Captain Eliot. He's captain of the Demeter, and he's in port at Varna, and he's got to recruit some crew for his ship there to make the trip from Varna to London. And little does he know, and little does the crew know, what kind of world of shit they're getting into, okay? And so he goes out into town. They're looking for a crew to join the ship. You have Corey Hawkins as was it Dr. Clemens, and he's just trying to get some work, okay? He's there in Varna, and they make it look like he's broke as a joke, right? He's this doctor that went to Cambridge in England. And even with that high education, he's finding himself in Romania, and he's basically doesn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw out of, right? And so that he's standing in line, he's hoping to get on the crew of the Demeter, and then you got David Dastmalchian. He's looking over the guys or potential crewmates there, and he picks a couple and goes right over Dr. Clemens, just doesn't think he has what it takes, or he's a racist. I don't know, because Dr. Clemens is black, here, obviously, as if you've seen the movie. And so then the people that they're going to pick for the crew, they get picked. They take them to the ship and whatnot. And then you see the crates from Dracula arrive. Well, pretty much, a whole lot of people don't know what's up at that. They don't know, hey, there's this vampire, right? This evil being that is within one of these crates, sleeping the sleep of the undead, right? And the other crates filled with dirt from little Transylvania, And so, but then some of the one of the new crew members, he sees like the dragon logo or the dragon pendant on the crates, and he's like, "Holy shit! I know that logo. That's the Dracula logo." Okay, just like I know the DC logo or the Marvel logo or the Star Wars logo. I know the Dracula logo. I ain't getting on this ship because I know who's getting on this ship, and I ain't gonna be on it when that bad motherfucker wakes up. Okay, named Dracula. Yep. So you got Rumble problems there, guys. Hopefully, it's not affecting this show or anybody else's show for that matter. But yeah, I know Rumble's been having some troubles there lately. A lot of time, I've been seeing like a lot of shows that typically I see uploaded to Rumble. They just don't upload to Rumble at all. So there's several shows that are on Rumble that I like to watch on Rumble. I don't want to watch them on YouTube And I just noticed that, you go to those channels on Rumble, and there's the new episodes aren't getting uploaded there. I know that, you watch shows and it pauses and whatnot. The video is a still frame, huh? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that here. That's I wonder if that's this show or my internet connection or whatever. So yeah, but let's see here. It might be my Wi-Fi. Yeah. Let's check that out here. I want to check my settings just to make sure that it's not something on my end, because that is always possible. Let's see here. I know, fascinating, everybody. I know, very fascinating. I should be using my Ethernet cable. I'm using I'm not using the 1996 56K modem this time. Right there. So, but yeah, let's I don't know. We're gonna move on. We're gonna press on, everybody. And you know what? Let me do this here because I've got some background music playing. I don't know if you can hear it. I've got it down pretty low, and this is the first episode that I'm playing that on there, just to kind of provide a little ambient music in the background as I talk. And I'm gonna pause that and see if that makes a difference. Right there. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So, but yeah. So onwards and upwards with the show here. And yeah, guys, obviously I'm sure you guys are going to do this anyway, but yeah, if you guys want to, give me some updates there on the picture and whatnot. So little situation reports, that kind of thing. Hopefully the video pulls its head out of its ass and starts working. Gotta love that. Yeah, because I use an Ethernet cable for my internet connection because I don't want to use like just my Wi-Fi, because that definitely is supposed to have poor performance for live streaming like this, because live streaming does take up some resources. But so I try to hook up my Ethernet cable to help out with that. But you know what? Hey, nothing's foolproof, right? All right. So, but yeah, so this movie goes more in depth about that, and so. We've got the Dracula's crates getting loaded on the ship. One of the people knows the Dracula logo, goes, "Holy fucking shit! I am not getting on this boat right here, man, because I know it's about to go down." Okay, and so then we ship off from the port after Dr. Clemens, actually by some stroke of luck, luck, gets to be part of the crew of the Demeter there because he saves Captain Eliot's grandson's life there, because one of the crates is getting hoisted up, and then that dumbass that noticed the Dracula logo is like, "Holy shit!" and he doesn't watch what he's doing. The crate that he's loading up on the ship isn't. He just lets the crate just drop, and then of course Captain Eliot's 9-year-old grandson is right there below the crate where the crate's going to drop, and Dr. Clemens comes in and he saves the day, or the boy in this case. And that gets him onto the crew of the Demeter. But little does he know that was, that was the worst stroke of luck he's ever had in his life. But yeah, so we know at this point that Dracula is on the ship. I mean, that's the whole premise of this movie, right? And so just like you've seen depicted on other Dracula movies, Dracula, I mean, is no one to screw with, right? Okay, he's got superhuman strength. He can shapeshift into bats and wolves and all that stuff. And then here on the ship, all we have is these lowly, ordinary, basic mortal men, right? Definitely not with super strength, right? They can't shapeshift. They have absolutely no superpowers whatsoever. Okay, so it is. It's a pain, right? So with what these humans have to deal with here with Dracula in the picture, and so as the picture progresses, we start seeing phenomenon like all the livestock on the ship are killed, and then the dog gets killed. Any movie where the dog gets killed, I'm not crazy about that, So I mean, John Wick, other movies. Like that. So, so unfortunately the dog gets killed in this movie, and then Dracula's like, "Hey, I need more blood. Okay, I gotta keep my energy up. Okay, I gotta regain my energy." Because apparently, I guess when he was being transported from, Castle Dracula to the ship, I guess he wasn't getting his blood, right? He wasn't getting his, like Popeye doesn't get his spinach. Dracula wasn't getting his blood for his strength. and so he had to power up, right? He had to pull a Super Mario and power up, and so he needed blood to do that. Well, his plan that he had in order to be able to power up, his human can of spinach, this girl named Anna, she gets discovered by Dr. Clemens, and Dr. Clemens, grabs her and tries to nurse her back to health because she's practically dead. Well, little does he know that, Anna was Dracula's food source for the journey from Varna to London. Well, Clemens just screwed over the whole crew. Little does he know, and how is he supposed to know, right? Just screws over the whole crew by taking Dracula's food supply, his food source for the trip. And so then Dracula's like, okay, well, now I got to eat me some chickens and some goats, or suck the blood out of some chickens and goats. I got to kill this dog and get some dog blood up in me. I need my can of spinach. I need to power up over here, right? And so so then he's like, okay, well, I've exhausted that. Now it's time to, move on to the crew, move on to the human beings, okay? And that's what we see, during the rest of the movie here. It starts off to slowly but surely taking out the crew. And, of course, they have no luck against this, this object or this character or minion of evil, straight from hell, a child of the devil. This is Dracula. He's a vampire, right? And he's just got all these advantages over lowly, ordinary human beings. All right, so that is pretty much our movie right there. You just just more and more people get killed, and that's kind of the disadvantage of this movie is that if you know anything about the Demeter, that's hard to say. If you know anything about the Demeter, there you go, and about Bram Stoker's Dracula novel, or if you've seen Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula movie, it does not end well for the Demeter, particularly the crew of the Demeter. So you know where this is headed. So when you're watching this movie, it's pretty much you're just watching it just to basically get the highlights or lowlights in this case of what goes down, how the crew is getting killed. They're getting vanquished. They're getting wiped out by this minion of hell. This evil being named Dracula. So, and that's what happens with that. So yeah, that is pretty much the movie right there. And again, hey everybody, if you guys have any thoughts about the last voyage of the Demeter, yeah, feel free to get into the chat. Let me know. Okay, it's I don't want to just sit here and be talking to myself. I mean, nobody, because the universal reaction to that would just be like,
no, God, please, no.
Absolutely. But yeah, so that is that here. And so let me do this here. Let me we got our little pictures here for from the movie there, just to accompany the thing to kind of tantalize and spice up the show here a little bit. So as you can see right there, we've got Dracula in his most beastastic form. And that's the thing about this movie is that, you never see Dracula, in his human form. You don't ever see Dracula, looking like, the suave, sophisticated ladies man, wooing the ladies in order to suck their blood, or, the Count Dracula, who's, the rich count that is mixing it up, hobnobbing with the folks of high society. You don't see that. I mean, you just see him at his beastastic best in this movie, just like you're seeing here in this picture. And then that's, it's one of the things that's kind of cool in this, because the monster effects, I will say, in this movie did work for me for the most part. They you could tell they use CGI in some parts, and I didn't like those parts. But the practical effects, where they actually have somebody in a suit, right? So they have this creature actor named Javier Botet here, and he's playing this Dracula beast. And so when they have him doing that and they're showing that, that's when it looks the best. That's when it looks the coolest. And it doesn't look cheesy. It doesn't look cheap. And ironically enough, with the CGI, it just looks cheap and whatnot with that. And so the with the CGI, when it comes to that, I just want to with that, you just want to kick the ass of whoever decided to do that because when they have that part of the movie where they have the CGI in there, it just does not work, and it just contrasts so much with the rest of the movie. So it's pretty much
crash and burn, huh, Mav?
Yeah, but yeah, it's just So, but when the practical effects, like remember the practical effects, like you've got movies like The Thing, right? Remember The Thing, John Carpenter's movie from the early '80s, like Kurt Russell, like those really badass, really gross and disgusting practical effects that you had in that movie. You have a little bit of that in this movie here. Well, you have a lot of it, but it's just not as pronounced, right? It's this Dracula character, this Dracula beast character, and it works. So when you see the Dracula character, like you see right here, yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, with the CGI, it is not working for me whatsoever. But I do like. That's one thing I like about the vampire lore, the Dracula lore, is that, I mean, you've got this character where he can disguise himself, this creature of the devil, right? Can disguise himself as just like a normal man, but not just just not any old man. Like he's a count, he's dapper and suave and sophisticated, and he's mixing it up again with the people of high society, and he's getting in with the creme de la creme of the of the population of the cities and that kind of thing. And so he knows his wine, he knows his manners and how to conduct himself, with the richest of society. So you have that contrast right there. He's like, he's like a satanic version of James Bond, right? But contrast that with like just this straight up beast creature that he can turn into, whether it's a wolf or whether it's like the creature that we're seeing right here. It's just that fascinating, profound, surreal contrast between Dracula, suave, sophisticated dude, and the fierce, ferocious, deadly beastie that we see right here in this picture, right there. So, that's always fascinated me right there. But you did see more of that contrast, like in for instance, Ford Coppola's Dracula movie right there, because you had Gary Oldman. And he was playing, the suave, sophisticated Count Dracula, mixing in with high society. But then also, that movie had the budget where they could also incorporate in just this really cool creature effects, and they spared no expense. And that's the thing about that movie, is like they just showed Gary Oldman's Dracula in just so many different variations of creatures. Okay, so I mean, he was so many different kinds of creatures. Sometimes he was like this bat creature, and then sometimes he was like a werewolf creature, and then he was like this slimy amphibious kind of thing. I mean, they just had all kinds of different flavors of creatures that Gary Oldman's Dracula was in Bram Stoker's Dracula there. So it was really, really badass in this, absolutely. But so in this movie, pretty much this movie, the Dracula monster has this gray, slimy, amphibious look to it, with like bat-like wings and ears and that kind of thing. And now the fact that he can turn into a bat and he's got wings might beg the question that, hey, if he's got wings, why did he have to take the Demeter? Why couldn't he just fly from Romania to London? And he didn't have to book a trip on a ship, right? He could just flew there. Well, you have to think about it though. Okay, so I mean, if he's going to fly from Romania and to England, and all he's got is bat wings. Now, bat wings aren't like eagle wings. Okay, he's not an American eagle. Okay, which would be kind of weird if Dracula turned into an American eagle or a bald eagle. He's got bat wings, which aren't going to carry you very fast from Romania to England, right? So, and obviously, as we all know, Dracula and sunlight don't mix real well. Okay, And so eventually, yeah, he was gonna have to contend with the sunlight, and so that was a no-go for the old Fly to London show for Dracula there, with just bat wings. So yeah, he had to. So yeah, he had to get on to get onto travel website, travel app, and book a trip on the old kayak. There we go. Just I must be getting late in the day. I can't even think of one travel app. Kayak. There, Dracula's trying to get on kayak and book a trip here to London instead of flying his little bat wings into to London there. So, but yeah, that's just So yeah, the creature effects. All that to say, the creature effects definitely worked for me in this movie. So, all right. So hey, you know what? I'm just gonna take a chance here to tell you all about our tdpn.locals.com. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, and you may be asking yourself, hey Van, what is tdpn.locals.com? Well, hey, that is our website here with the Till Death Podcast Network, where we have all our videos and blogs and articles that we have all about movies and entertainment, cocktail recipes, politics, hot button issues of the day, all of that. So and now you may be saying to yourself right now, hey, you know what? I can get that at a number of different websites there, Van. Okay, that's nothing new. You're not breaking new ground here. Okay. Well, that is true, but you're not going to get it presented to you the way that we present it here. Okay, on this website. No. We give it to you in a style and flavor that you are not used to on any other website. You're not getting this. Okay, so you're going to be like, honey, come check this out. What am I looking at? What the hell? tdpn.locals.com. Get your ass over here, woman, and check this out. And you should check this out, okay? And so right now, as you can see at the very bottom, if you go to tdpn.locals.com right now, you can put in promo code TDPN, and you're going to get 1 month free membership on this bad boy, okay? 1 month free. And you can get in there and you can look at all the premium content in there because you'll be a free member for 1 month, okay? And as I just implied, we have content in there that only premium members, only the establishment, the VIPs of tdpn.locals.com can check out, yes. And so you'll be able to check that out, okay? And so, but after that, it's just a measly $3 minimum for the website. So yeah, if you just want to help support us there as we provide all this content, these shows on the Till Death Podcast Network for a measly $3, by all means. Now, of course, if you are feeling charitable, and you want to, support us, for more than $3, hey, by all means, we will not refuse your money. Your money is totally good here, okay? But that is our tdpn.locals.com website. Definitely check it out. Yes. Okay. Moving on. But hey, before I move on here, let me hydrate. All right. Okay. So what else to talk about? In this movie? Now, as you can see here in this picture, that is Corey Hawkins playing Dr. Clemens here. He's the main protagonist in this movie. And this doctor, or this character, Corey Hawkins playing this Dr. Clemens, he's pretty much just here to hold our hand as we watch this and pretty much just provide an explanation of what's going on. Basically, he's Dr. Exposition. Okay, so paging Dr. Exposition. We need you to the ER stat. Paging Dr. Exposition. And he's written to be the brains and then the brawn to an extent in this movie. Okay, so he's, like I mentioned before, he's a doctor. He went to Cambridge, which is no college to sneeze at. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about Cambridge University in England. Okay, and so he's no dummy whatsoever. And so he's just there to provide the brains and some resourcefulness from a medical standpoint to the crew, the poor doomed crew of the Demeter here. And so he's I think one thing that I have a problem with, and I'm probably just about to go down a whole Pandora's box. I'm about to go down a whole rabbit's hole here with this right here. But I feel it's got to be said. And before I get into that, hopefully for my beloved audience here, hopefully the video is still or is okay here now. Last time I heard from anybody, the video was just a still frame here, but the audio is tip top. But hopefully the video is basically pulled its head out of its ass and is working now. But anyway, so where I was going with this is that let's be real, everybody. Okay, let's be real about the chances that there would be a black doctor just waiting around in Romania in the year, I think this takes place in like 1897, just happens to be there to get on the Demeter, okay? A black doctor just waiting to get on the Demeter, okay? And just so happens to be conveniently to work out for this movie, okay? Not very likely. Okay, now if that was the case, right? That happening in and of itself, I don't have a problem with. I mean, like I'm not some damn racist, right? I'm not some fucking racist here, but to me, to be perfectly honest, them making the protagonist, like changing the protagonist in this, well, okay, so in this, Dr. Clemens isn't even a character in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay, the novel, he's not even a character in it. Neither is Anna, the woman that's standing behind him. Okay, and I don't have a problem with them adding new characters here. I just find it's a lot of suspension of disbelief to believe that there would be a black doctor just happens to be there, at this time in history. And so it just reeks of them injecting a black character, this Dr. Clemens, into this movie as basically the main character. I mean, you could argue that Dracula is the main character too, that they're co-stars essentially, okay? Because, Dr. Clemens and Dracula are the only two, characters that survive off the Demeter, right? So, and you even have a scene, and this is what really drove home the point to me, that I think they just put a black character in this movie so that they could they could give you like a black a racism woke after school special vibe to this movie, or at least a portion of this movie. Okay, and they can't have that if Dr. Clemens is white. Okay, all right, they can't have that, and so they want to preach to you about, by the way, everybody, there's this thing called racism, because we didn't know that already. Okay, we didn't know that there's this thing called racism whatsoever. And you know what? You're never going to forget it, because you always have somebody like every 5 minutes reminding you that there's racism here in the country. Okay, so I mean, we may otherwise arrive at racial harmony, right? Blacks and whites and Hispanics and Asians, all races, all races getting along, living in society, all in harmony and peace and working together in conjunction, all peacefully. We might actually have that if we didn't have somebody fucking always reminding us that there's racism every 15 fucking minutes. Okay. And so this movie is yet another reminder, like, hey, everybody, we have racism here. Okay. In this society. And, it just gets annoying, okay? Because you have all these movies here where they're constantly reminding you that there's white towards black racism, okay? But as we all know, okay, if you have more than two brain cells in your head to rub together, there is such a thing. There's more than just white against black racism. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, right? We have plenty of video evidence that there is definitely black against white racism. There's Asian against black racism. There's black against Asian racism. Okay, I mean, hashtag stop Asian hate. I mean, who do we see mostly committing the Asian hate? Hello, okay? And again, not trying to be racist, but I'm trying to be real, okay? And that's one thing about this show, and I'm going to bullshit you. Okay, I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to pull punches to not hurt people's delicate sensibilities. Okay, I'm gonna give you the straight fucking truth. Okay, and so as we see, yes, there's way more in this world than just white versus black racism. We have plenty of non-white versus black racism to go around. Okay, I mean, just look at social media. You just see plenty of other examples of other flavors of racism out there. But we seem to only get movies where we're getting lectured about white versus black racism. Wonder why that is. Yeah, I wonder why that is. Could it be maybe that we have a system in this country that is trying to divide black from white and white from black? Because what's the easiest way to destroy a country? Well, to divide a country, okay? And so now the last voyage of the Demeter, is it a big part of that effort? No. It's a very, very small part of that effort. But when you combine the last voyage of the Demeter with, a bunch of other movies and TV shows, and then news shows, news channels constantly like just shoving it down our throats, white versus black racism, white versus black racism, white versus black racism, white versus black racism. There is no other type of racism. There's only white versus black racism. Okay. And you just hear that constantly over and over again in movies and TV, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, everywhere, right? Colleges, demonstrations, you're just getting it everywhere, right? And so that all builds up. Okay, builds up. Yeah, great point there. Is it Tadaj or Tadoj? Probably totally mispronouncing that, so my apologies. But yeah, great point. No one lecturing Catholics about their bigotry against Protestants. I mean, there's not. So there's the prevailing sermonizing that we're getting is the, oh, hey, did you know, by the way, whites are racist against black people? Okay. But hey, don't ever think that there's, the reverse, right? Don't ever think that there's black racism against white racism, no matter what your lying eyes tell you. Okay. Pretend there's no Asian versus black racism. Okay. Pretend there's no other flavor. Okay. We can't pretend there's other flavors of racism besides white versus black racism, okay? Because, and again, there is totally that out there, but why is that always getting keyed on, right? Well, because again, that's part of the effort to divide this country, okay? And the sooner all of us fucking realize that, the better, okay? And that's why I try not to, and I'm not disparaging people. I'm not trying to, because I'm talking about people preaching to us and me and whatnot. I'm not trying to preach to people that do this, but we all see people, they're posting videos of black violence against white people and whatnot and that kind of thing. And so I get the point of doing that. And because I'm a lot of people feel the same way I do, that, hey, white people are getting a bad rap over here. We're getting shit on. We're the only ones getting preached at and lectured about being racist. Well, you got plenty of the reverse of it, right? We got blacks, hitting on, pounding on white people. We got blacks pounding on Asian people and whatnot. So I get the mentality of doing that. I just hope when people look at those posts, that they're not building up in their hearts hatred for all black people. I really hope. I hope that they're looking at those videos and go, okay, that's just those black people right there. Okay. I hope they remember that, hey, you know what? I just talked to, some black people last week or even earlier today at work or whatever, and they were perfectly friendly. We got along. We're harmonious with each other. We love each other. We get along. Hey, they're coming over to my house this weekend. We're going to barbecue and whatnot. I hope they remember that too, in addition to what they see on the screen where you got some, some poor white guy walking down the sidewalk and then a bunch of blacks like jump on him, or some white girl, just sitting on a picnic table by herself and a bunch of black girls come up and start beating the fuck out of her and whatnot. So Those are those black people. Okay. But that is not black people as a whole. Okay. We don't like it when you get black politicians or somebody that's black and they just paint the whole white race with the same brush, right? We don't like it when they do it to us. Let's not do it to them. Okay. So all that to say is that I know as long as we have that mentality when we're watching those videos, we're not playing into the effort that is out there. That is no doubt out there, the effort to divide this country in order to destroy it. Okay. And I have my thoughts as far as who's doing it. Okay. So think about it. Like, who would want to destroy the United States, right? The most powerful country in the world. Well, there's other countries in the world that want to be the most powerful country in the world. Okay. So you can imagine who's spearheading this effort, right? Okay. And has planted the seeds towards this. Now, the seeds for this weren't planted last week, right? Of course, we all know that, right? They weren't planted last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Those seeds were planted back in the 40s and the 50s, okay? Probably more like the 50s where, with academia. That's where it all starts, right? Okay, you get communists, they infect academia, they infect the colleges first. They start infecting the colleges with their dogma, their communist teachings, hey, by the way, America's not that great. Hey, did you know they have slavery? Yeah, and you know what? I'm pretty sure that America is the only country to ever have slavery. I'm pretty sure America's invented slavery. Oh yeah, and this capitalism thing. Oh man, did you know that America has poor people and it has rich people? And did you know that America is the only country that has poor people and rich people? Every other country, everybody's rich. Everybody's rich. But there's this communism thing. Yeah, let me tell you about this communism thing. This communism thing, it's worked everywhere it's been tried. Oh my God, look at Russia. It's so prosperous. China, North Korea, it's so, Venezuela, Cuba. I mean, every country that's tried it, it's so prosperous. Don't you want to try that? And then, so you get that being taught in the colleges and other things, to undermine the United States. Get that started, being taught in colleges in the 50s. Then that's handed down from this professor and that professor and that professor and that professor and through colleges, this college and that college. And it just happens. And it doesn't happen overnight, right? I mean, it's very slow. It's very slow. Now, do they call it communism? No, that'd be stupid. They're not going to call it communism. They're not handing out textbooks, red textbooks with a sickle and hammer on it, right? No, they're not making it that obvious. But it just slowly but surely. And I would invite you to, if you're watching this, you're like, oh my God, here's someone's crazy uncle on this Movies America spoiler warning show, spouting all this bullshit about racism and communism infecting the country and whatnot. So if you're like that, so good. Don't believe me. Okay. Hey, I could be some ranting son of a bitch on YouTube and Rumble. You don't know, right? Do your own research though. Okay. There is, I forget there's an ex-KGB agents. There's this Russian guy and he, wrote a book all about this. And since he's ex-KGB, he knows about this effort that started, I think he said it started in the 50s, this effort to undermine the United States by infecting our colleges with communist teachings, communist operatives. And when they did that, they knew it wasn't going to they didn't know it was going to flourish and be successful overnight or even in 1 year or 10 years or 30 years or whatever. They knew it was going to take multiple generations for it to work. And we're at that multiple generation phase or stage because this happened in the 50s. Okay. Let me check out live chat here real quick. I don't want to ignore everybody here. Astro Sweat. Hey, welcome here. Yeah. Hey, you know what? You're late, but that's cool. No problem. I can start over now. Okay. Hey, let me hit the start over button right now. There you go. It's just not. Oh my God, Astro Sweat. It's just not working. I'm pressing that thing. It's just not working. What the hell? Yeah. So hey, welcome everybody that's in here. So, but yeah, don't believe me. Read up on that shit. Okay. So, let me do this here. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna cheat, everybody. I'm gonna cheat and check this out. Let's get in here. So I'm gonna list here. Let's do this. All right. All right, let's see what this guy's name is. Sure. It's in here somewhere. In here somewhere. All right. Okay. Actually, you know what? This isn't the name of the guy here, but let's do this. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to share my screen. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So, all right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Like, stop saying okay already, all right? Okay. So yeah, we've got the sword and the shield right here. So and yeah, so this is right, this sword and the shield book right there. Yeah, check this out. You can go there. This is obviously the New York Times bestseller, and I believe this is a good book to go over that right there. So you can check that out. And that'll and then again, just Google other things. They're all about this, all about this effort over decades and decades and decades to undermine our country. And so to get back to the last voyage of the Demeter, so then this is just one of many, movies and TV shows that is part of that, part of that whole effort to undermine, the great experiment that is the United States of America. Okay, what did Ben Franklin say? Back in the day, because I think like a woman came up to Ben Franklin and asked him like, "Hey, what kind of country are we going to have?" Something along those lines. And Ben Franklin's famous phrase is, "Well, a republic if you can keep it." Okay, easy for me to say. So a republic if you can keep it. That's what Ben Franklin said. And that's the truth. If you can keep it, okay. And so that means we have to work at keeping it, okay. And so in working at keeping this country, what we remember, what we love, means we have to do our due diligence. Okay, we have to do our homework. We can't just sit at home on the couch, sitting on our hands, watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or watching YouTube videos, or hey, what time's the NFL game on? Right? Like, no, we have to actually pull our head out of our ass and actually, do some looking up, do some critical thinking. And when you see shit like the last, voyage of the Demeter, trying to pull some fucking, divide and destroy bullshit about, like lecturing all of us that, trying to make it sound like, hey, there's only black versus white racism in the world. And that combined with every other fucking movie and TV show that tries to portray it like, hey, there's only white versus black racism in the world. And there's no other flavor of racism. Yeah, that all combines together. Hey, I thought I saw a little rumble ran out of the side of my eye there from Astro Sweat. Thank you very much, good sir. $5 from Astro Sweat for the coat check. Absolutely. Thanks for joining me here. And then we got to Doge. We need to get rid of porn. Porn is destroying our youth and taking their souls away from God. Yep, that and TikTok. Yeah. So yeah, in TikTok, definitely that's another one right there. That's another way of dumbing down our youth. Okay, so that like TikTok, and I know there's probably like some some Generation Y or Gen Zers. They see it as like, shut up, boomer. Okay, that's another thing when they call you boomer or call you old man yelling at the clouds, or old man yelling, get off my lawn. That's another tactic that the youngsters, the young whippersnappers, they try to use to try to silence you, right? I don't want to be called a boomer. I better shut the fuck up. Like, what? Yeah, don't let them do that to you, okay? They call you boomer, say, yeah, I'm a boomer. I'm proud fucking of it, all right? I'm a Gen Xer or whatever, So yeah, you can take that old man, get off my lawn bullshit and shove it right up your fucking ass. Okay, all right, I got shit to say. Sketchy Jesus, welcome. Sup, y'all, he says. All right, so you got a lot of greetings here in the live chat. Everyone's saying hi to each other. And again, I appreciate you guys joining the show right here. So, and one other thing I wanted to mention here is I think we all can agree, and maybe it started before this, but I think that we saw a lot of this whole TV show and movies thing where they're basically trying to portray like white versus black racism is the only flavor of racism that's ever existed, in this country, particularly now. I think it started after the Trayvon Martin thing, right? Okay, the Trayvon Martin death, there, in Florida, I think that is where that took place there. And so then, after that, that was the birthplace of BLM, or, buy larger mansions, or, burn, loot, murder. That, the BLM age started, and so with that just got, all this vitriol, all this venom built up with all the race hustlers and all the race baiters, and that all bled over into Hollywood, right? Via movies and TV. And there's no shortage of people in Hollywood, no shortage of white people in Hollywood that really, really have a bad case of white guilt, okay? And a really bad case of, trying to prove to every black friend they have how down they are with the cause, okay? So every white person, there's plenty of white people in Hollywood that are more than happy. When a black person yells jump, they yell how high, okay? And they do that in the form of, oh, hey, let's make all these movies and TV shows where we just portray the only flavor of racism that's ever existed as white versus black racism, okay? And so I think that really got ramped up after the Trayvon Martin thing. And then the Michael Brown, Ferguson, Missouri thing gave it a turbo boost, okay? So yeah, someone like turned on the nitro like in Fast and the Furious, and that really got the whole race baiting, race hustling industry there in Hollywood really ramped up and going. And so we got movies like, what was that Netflix movie, like Dear White People? That one. Catherine Bigelow made the movie Detroit, about some race riot that happened like in the fucking 60s. Like, are we in the 21st century? Did live chat remind me, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Are we in the 21st century, or are we still in the fucking 60s and the 70s? Are we still in the Jim Crow days here, or as Joe Biden would say, the Jim Eagle days? Are we? Because you got Catherine Bigelow making that movie Detroit, and I guess that was her way, because she's a white lady. I guess that was her paying, alms, putting her money in the offering plate, in the race hustling church, her money in the offering plate, to show, hey, I know I'm white, but I'm down with the cause, everybody. Okay, here, I made this movie Detroit where it makes white people look bad. Do I look good, black friends? Am I okay in your book now? Like, you got so many directors, producers, whatever, that are just like that. That's their fucking mentality, and it's just annoying as fuck. So Netflix had the gall of coming out with a movie called Dear White People. Now replace that title with with the word black, directed by Quentin Tarantino. You can imagine how that would go over, right? Okay, so because you can never go the other way, and I would never want to go the other way, right? I would never want to go the other way. I don't want a bunch of movies and TV shows preaching about black versus white racism. All right, I don't want a bunch of fucking movies and TV shows preaching about Asian versus black racism. Okay, all right, we get it, Hollywood. We get it, CNN. We get it, MSNBC. We get it. There's this thing called racism, okay? And unless someone could, invents a mind control fucking device that can control the minds of every human in the world, there's always going to be gulp racism, okay? We fucking get it, okay? We don't need to keep hearing it, okay? We actually had a period of time, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong there, live chat, but I thought we were headed pretty well. We were headed on the path pretty well towards racial harmony. Okay, now exceptions here and there and whatnot. Okay, but we were getting closer and closer to racial harmony. And ironically enough, we elect a black president, and that harmony we were heading towards. We were headed down the straight path of racial harmony, and then we elect our first black president, and then that straight path, that car goes right into the fucking ditch. And Obama's like, racial harmony. Oh, I'm gonna wipe my ass with that racial harmony. Not on my watch. So ironically enough, we elect a black president twice. Okay, and which you would think if we elected a black president. I was naive enough. I thought when we elected Barack Obama, I thought, man, I'm seeing us head towards racial harmony. I don't see racial intersectionality, as often as we see nowadays. I don't see all this, as much race hustling and race baiting anymore. The the days of Jim Crow and all that are over, that kind of thing. We're getting closer and closer. And now we elected Barack Obama. Wow, this is going to be like a turbo boost for racial harmony. Man, look, black and white and Asian and Hispanic, we're all going to get along even better now that we've elected our first black president. I mean, I thought he was a fucking, flaky, dweeb, but hey, it's our first black president. I thought it was going to be a turbo boost to racial harmony. Nope. Boy, was I wrong. Okay, so because little did I know, we didn't elect the commander-in-chief. We elected a race baiter-in-chief, okay? Let's check out the live chat here. So, we got, let me see here. We got Agent X6, boomers dying in wars are the reason these Gen Z psychos have freedom. Yep, exactly correct. So, yeah, they don't appreciate that. And I think that we've had it too good. We've had it too comfortable, right? What's that old saying? And I'm going to butcher this, but with hard times make good times, and good times, make soft men and soft men make hard times, and that whole phrase. I'm totally butchering that, but yeah, I think we're in that time where we've had easy times, soft times, cushiony times, ultra comfortable times, and that creates weak, limp-wristed, Weasley fucking men that create the hard times. Okay. And we're going into the hard times part of that cycle right there. Because, ironically enough, that's one of the good things, I guess, about world wars. It's that it toughens everybody up, and it consolidates everybody. It gets everybody, in harmony, and we're fighting this common foe. And now we haven't had any world wars. We live in a lap of luxury. I mean, fuck. I mean, you can go to Starbucks and get a fucking rose painted in your fucking foam in your latte and whatnot. You can order a fucking Chinese dinner for 8 people and have it delivered to your fucking house while watching one of 500,000 movies on Netflix. I mean, we comfort galore here. So we've got the 1940s where we're having to ration our food and build plant victory gardens, and now we've got Netflix and chill. So, yeah, we're living in soft times. And so, yeah, when you have that, you get, Weasley, snotty nose, fucking Gen Zers and whatnot, just not realizing how good they fucking have it. Agent X6 goes on to say, seems like a lot of companies, including movie studios, do these things for their ESG score. That'll preach. Absolutely. So, Astro Sweat elected a gay Muslim. What could possibly go wrong? Exactly. And while it all makes sense now. I mean, maybe it made sense for a lot of other people before it made sense for me, but it all makes sense that Obama's married to Big Mike. Yep. Did they have to kill that chef though? My God. I mean, I'm sure he could have stayed quiet when he saw Big Mike's big hog hanging out accidentally, and so you had to have a little paddleboard accident or whatever that was. Kidding. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe am I? Okay. You know what? Hey, let's break it up a little bit right there. That's been my social commentary for this episode. But I'm getting a little thirsty. How about you guys? Let's break it up a little. Brew review time. All right, everybody. Yes. So for a brew review time, I got to have a brew. And so tonight's lucky brew is Cota Blanca from our good friends in Mexico. Well, I was going to say good friends in Mexico. That's kind of casting a wide net, but the Mexican government are a bunch of Weasley fucks that like to let people sneak across our border. But hey, it has nothing to do with beer, okay? But the good beer brewers at Cota Blanca in Mexico, I'll salute to them, okay? This is what is this, a 4.5% alcohol by volume. This is just like a nice, cool, crisp, refreshing beer that comes in handy. And before I go on, I'm not getting any money from Carta Blanca. Okay, so it's a totally objective review. Okay, so I am not a Carta Blanca shill yet. Now, Carta Blanca, you got my number. I would never do that, people. Never do that. But yeah, it's just like a crisp, light-bodied lager, and it's got like this. And it's going to sound really gross, okay? but it's got like the malt, the grain malt flavor to it and whatnot, but also it's got kind of like this corn tasting, like corn note to it there. See, I told you it's going to sound gross, but it really gives it like this distinctive good flavor to it. And if you ever had Carta Blanca before, you know what I'm talking about. It's also got like a slight citrus flavor to it as well. And it's just like a good wipe the sweat off your brow and kick fucking back beer. Okay, sit on the patio after a couple hours on the riding mower and just grab yourself a Carta Blanca and have yourself a good time right there. And so yeah, instead of me yapping about it here, I'm gonna get a little tug off this bad boy. All right, live chat. This is for you. Oh yeah, going down smooth, everybody. Going down smooth. Hey, and I don't want to be the only one drinking. All right, get in there. I want people drinking here in the live chat. Let me know what you guys are pouring down the old gullet here tonight as well. So, Astro Sweat, not like the corn on my foot, though, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely not that corn right there. Okay, so now there might be like some fetishists that do like beer that would have something like that. I mean, Quentin Tarantino likes feet. Okay, and maybe there's a maybe there's some really sick bastards that like the corns on Brie Larson's nasty friggin' eagle's talon claws feet, whatever. That makes no sense whatsoever. All right, we'll call a timeout on that one right there and just end that right where it stands. Okay. Ask Agent X6. Cheers. I am having coffee. Yeah, a little Java. Oh, that works. So, all right. So that has been Brew Review time. All right. So, and yeah, anybody in the live chat there, if you guys have seen this movie, yeah, let me know. Hey, what's your favorite character? What's your favorite scene? Any kind of comments that you have about it, that kind of thing. What's your favorite vampire movie? Okay. Or it doesn't even have to be Dracula. It could be just your favorite vampire movie. I definitely want to hear that, okay? Because I want to just talk to myself. That's boring. That's boring, everybody. That is not right. Okay, so because that is this show would definitely go.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Yeah, if I'm just over here yapping, we don't want that. We don't want that. Okay, so you live chat, yeah. Let me know. Get back to me about this movie right up in here. Okay, so what else is there to say about this movie here? What else is there to say? You know what? Hey, before I forget here, we got people. Man, we got a lot of people drinking coffee. Got a Irish coffee. Yeah, I hear you, Darth Jason. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Astro Sweat, have you heard of the Jones Plantation movie yet? No, I have not. Is it good? I mean, right when I read that, I was thinking of the first movie that came to mind was The Free State of Jones, the Matthew McConaughey movie there that is not that good. That was a rare slip on the old banana peel for one Matthew McConaughey right there. But yeah, the Jones Plantation, I have not seen that, but I always like people turning me on to any kind of movie right there. So is that like a documentary or is that a fictitious movie? So I'm curious to know. Agent X6 Underworld is one I really enjoy. Yeah, the first few anyway. Yeah. Kate Beckinsale. Yeah. There we go. That's all I have to say. Those two words, Kate Beckinsale. That is all. And apparently she must have had a pretty good time with the director of that movie, Len Wiseman, because I believe that is where they hooked up and they eventually got married. Or maybe they were married before that movie came out, maybe before he directed that movie. But yeah, Len Wiseman, he directed at least the first Underworld movie, and he was hooking up with Kate Beckinsale, lucky guy. And then Len Wiseman later on directed Die Hard 4, I guess people call it, Live Free or Die Hard. Len Wiseman directed that right there. But Underworld's good. I did like Underworld because it showed the vampire world in such a different way. Okay. It kind of touched on a little bit on like where where Blade and Blade 2 kind of touched on, where it talked about like a society of vampires, or they have they have a government, and they have their own like nightclubs and restaurants and stuff. You know, they just have their whole own society. That's kind of an underworld, right? Yeah. And so then, you know, they have like these different classes of vampires. They have like a caste system with vampires, right? You know, in Underworld, you got the high society vampires, you know, that Kate Beckinsale's character is all a part of there. And I think then they have the werewolves in that, right? The Lycans, and the vampires are kind of like the snooty, you know, Grey Poupon, snobby crowd, and then the Lycans are like, hey, fuck you, vampires! What the hell? Who died and made you boss? You know, like, why do you think your shit doesn't stink? Okay, so there's these classes and these societies. So I did like how Underworld did show that, and just the way that like the vibe of Underworld. I mean, obviously it's a vampire movie, so it's going to be dark and whatnot. But it just had this edge to it, right? It had this edge, and I liked how it kind of combined this Matrix vibe with the world of vampires, you know. So it definitely was kind of cool with that, all the gunplay and shit. I thought that was badass in that. So yeah, good pull there, Agent X6. Very good pull. But yeah, anybody else with their favorite vampire movie? Yeah, definitely throw it my way. Okay, I want to hear more about that there. So, and you know, as we saw in this movie, we had Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones. We have pretty good Game of Thrones representation in this movie. Liam Cunningham, of course, he plays, you know, Sir Davos, you know, in Game of Thrones, and then we had Aisling Franciosi. She plays Anna in this movie. She plays like the woman that is Dracula's food source, you know, that he brought on board as kind of his Capri Sun, you know, his Monster Energy drink. That was what she was going to be for him on the ship. And so she's played by Aisling Franciosi. I'm probably butchering that last name, but she played Ned Stark's sister. Remember, like, what was season 6, 7, or 8? I can't remember, one of those seasons where they did the callback, you know, where they imagined, or it was Bran. Yeah, that's right. Bran was having the vision, and spoilers with Game of Thrones, but it was not really a spoiler. But Bran was having a vision where he saw Ned Stark, young Ned Stark, and he was going up to see his sister, and his sister was dying in the bed from, you know, a pregnancy gone wrong. And so Ned Stark's sister in Game of Thrones is played by the same actress that plays Anna in this show, or in this movie right there. So again, all that to say, some good Game of Thrones representation. Okay, Game of Thrones. God, man, wow, I tell you, talk about a TV series that just shit the bed at the end. Started out hot, right? Remember, like Game of Thrones? Remember the first 5 seasons? Okay, not to turn this into hot Game of Thrones talk, but the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, man, you could not shut anybody up about Game of Thrones, and for good reason. Game of Thrones was like such a fucking phenomenon, right? Everyone was talking about it. I mean, no one wanted to be the person that wasn't watching Game of Thrones, because everyone at work was talking about Game of Thrones. Everyone at school was talking about Game of Thrones. And, oh, man, Ned Stark. Did you see what happened to Ned Stark? Oh, yeah. No, dude, Tyrion, man. Tyrion. And, oh, man, that Braun, he cracks me up, man. I tell you, he's hilarious. You know, like, oh, that fucking Cersei. She's kicking ass. And, yeah, like, you know, just all the dialogue about Game of Thrones. Like, so that was such a phenomenon for the first 5 seasons. Then it just shit the bed. Okay, yeah. Agent X6. Yeah, I only saw the first 3 of the Underworld movies. Not sure how it turned out on the later ones. Yeah, it's as you know, as what typically happens with the franchises, the further and further you go, and the more, you know, the later and later sequels, you know, they get worse and worse. Now, the notable exception to that, of course, is the Mission Impossible movies there. So they're, but you know, most franchises are not Mission Impossible. That is faux show. Yep. All right. So hey, you know what? Let me take a chance here before I forget, because I want to treat you guys to a great product here, okay? And that is Nature Clear. Yes, Nature Clear. Hey, do you guys? I was going to ask you, but you guys, I know you guys like to go out and have a good time, with some tequila shots or some beers or whatever is your poison, right? You like to go out there and shake that booty or sit on the beer patio and whatnot. And hey, if you don't want to have to worry about a hangover, because who wants to worry about a hangover? Right? You want to go out there, have a good time, and not have to worry about a diamond splinter headache or a hangover the next morning, right? Well, if you don't have to worry about that, get yourself some Nature Clear recovery powder. That's right, peoples. Nature Clear recovery powder. All you got to do with this Nature Clear recovery powder is just pour it in 12 ounces of water, or just your typical normal bottle of water. You just pour this stuff right in that bottle of water, and you can mix it in like with some lemonade, Mio, something like that, and it kind of tasty it up, make it even tastier. Sean here with the Till Death Podcast Network. That was his tip right there, and good tip, man. And so, yeah, you just drink that one bottle of that with the Nature Clear recovery powder in that before you head on out for the night. If you're going to the nightclub to shake that booty, or you're sitting on the beer patio or hanging out by the river or whatever, and you don't have to worry about a hangover, take this beforehand, okay? All right? But, hey, if you happen to be out there and, hey, you're a Green Bay Packers fan and you're like 23 Zimas in, you're like, holy shit, I forgot to take my Nature Clear recovery powder. What an asshole I am. Hey, take it easy on yourself, all right? All you got to do is take it when you get home and you're good to go, okay? You're good to go. So before you crawl into your futon for the evening, after you got home from tearing it up, just take your Nature Clear then, and you're good to go, okay? And it doesn't just help you recover or prevent a hangover. It helps you recover from smoking and vaping, okay? So this is the all-around Swiss Army knife of recovery, all right? So right now, live chat and everybody else, right now, you're asking yourself, Van, stop yapping. How can I get my hands on some Nature Clear recovery powder? Well, hey, you know what? I can let you know. I'm happy to let you know. You just got to click on that Nature Clear link down in the description, all right? And then I'll take you to the Nature Clear website, and you just pick all the Nature Clear that you can handle. Go crazy. Go nuts. Okay? But as long as you put in the promo code MOVIES in the carts, you can go as nuts as you want, okay? And if you put promo code MOVIES in the cart there, you're going to get up to 25% off your next order, okay? So just don't think about it. Just do it, okay? All right, everybody. That has been Nature Clear recovery powder, right? Do yourself a favor. Get yourself some of that. All right. So let's check out the live chat here. Astro Set says just me, or is Rumble laggy? Hopefully it's not there. I know we had some Rumble problems earlier. That's the thing, because that's the frustrating thing about Rumble. Like, my money is on Rumble being why we ran into what we ran into earlier, because people were saying that it was a still. The picture was like just a still frame on this earlier. Maybe it is. Hopefully not for anybody. But I know I've run into that watching other Rumble shows, and I know that it'll just stop right in the middle of the show and just die, or just freeze up or whatever. Or shows that you want to watch on Rumble, they don't have new episodes where they normally do, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, Rumble, come on, man. Like, clean up your shit. All right. I like your Rumble, but it's probably just normal growing pains. It's a platform that's trying to compete with YouTube, and it's just par for the course. I guess we just gotta all handle it. Astro Sweat. Yeah. I have it on good authority. Do not snort Nature Clear. Yes. All right. No matter what your best friend Tony Montana tells you, or Hunter Biden, don't snort the Nature Clear. Do not do that. Okay. And I don't know if you guys heard earlier tonight before the show started. They did find a bag of Nature Clear at the White House, and it has been revealed it is not Hunter Biden's. It is not Hunter Biden's, but because he only snorts Parmesan cheese and premium booger sugar straight from our friends in Colombia. Yeah. But yeah, Astro Sweat, appreciate that. That's word from the wise. Do not snort Nature Clear. Do not do it, okay? All right, no matter what. Don't yield to peer pressure. Don't do it, okay? All right. So let's move on here. Let's see what else we got on the docket here for tonight. You know what? Hey, what? Let's do this. All right. Let's fuck it. Let's do my favorite segment of the show. And my favorite segment of the show is the movie military moment. Yes. And you might be asking yourself, hey, Van, all right, what's this military movie moment that you're talking about here, my man? Well, the movie military moment is my salute to our military men and women, okay? Now, obviously, as you know, military men and women, they win the Congressional Medal of Honor, right? And they don't just win the Congressional Medal of Honor by just sitting on a lawn chair on a beach, right? They got to do some hellacious shit, right? Okay, some intense shit to win a Congressional Medal of Honor, okay? And so as you would imagine, whatever they had to do, if they put that on camera, if they put that in a movie, that moment would be like, holy fucking shit, my God, what am I watching? This is nuts. Your eyes would be popping out of your head. A movie military moment, okay? And so I want to read off the citation for for tonight's Congressional Medal of Honor winner, our movie military moment recipients, okay? And with every for every great service man or woman, they deserve their own music as part of this movie military moment segment, okay? And hey, you know what? Let's get that tunage going. Let's rock out. Let's do it. This is the movie military moments. And today's episode's movie military moment recipient there, if I could spit that out, is Second Lieutenant Edward Carl Dahlgren. And he fought in World War II, in France, to be specific. So, let's read on. Let's read more about Second Lieutenant Dahlgren. He led the 3rd Platoon to the rescue of a similar unit which had been surrounded in an enemy counterattack at Oberhofen, France. As he advanced along a street, he observed several Germans crossing a field about 100 yards away. Running into a barn, he took up a position in a window and swept the hostile troops with submachine gun fire, killing 6, wounding others, and completely disorganizing the group. His platoon then moved forward to intermittent sniper fire and made contact with the besieged Americans. When the 2 platoons had been reorganized, Sergeant Dahlgren continued to advance along the street until he drew fire from an enemy fieldhouse. In the face of machine pistol and rifle fire, he ran towards the building, hurled a grenade through the door, and blasted his way inside with his gun. This aggressive attack so rattled the Germans that all 8 men who had held the strongpoint immediately surrendered. As Sergeant Dahlgren started toward the next house, hostile machine gun fire drove him to cover. He secured rifle grenades, stepped to an exposed position, and calmly launched his missiles from a difficult angle until he had destroyed the machine gun and killed its 2 operators. Wouldn't this be cool in a movie scene? Are you fucking kidding me here? My God. He moved to the rear of the house and suddenly came under the fire of a machine gun and placed in a barn. Throwing a grenade into the structure, he rushed the position, firing his weapon as he ran. Within, he overwhelmed 5 Germans. After reorganizing his unit, he advanced to clear hostile riflemen from the building where he had destroyed the machine gun. He entered the house by a window and trapped the Germans in the cellar, where he tossed grenades. This guy likes grenades. Where he tossed grenades into their midst, wounding several and forcing 10 more to surrender. While reconnoitering to another street with a comrade, he heard German voices in a house. An attack with rifle grenades drove the hostile troops to the cellar. Sergeant Dahlgren entered the building, kicked open the cellar door, and firing several bursts down the stairway, called for the trapped enemy to surrender. 16 soldiers filed out with their hands in the air, and then he threw grenades at them and killed them all. Well, no, never mind. 16 soldiers filed out with their hands in the air. The bold leadership and magnificent courage displayed by Sergeant Dahlgren and his heroic attacks were in a large measure responsible for repulsing an enemy counterattack and saving an American platoon from great danger. Let's give it up, everybody, for Second Lieutenant Edward Dahlgren. Yes. Now, that was his highest rank, second lieutenant, but at the time this happened, he was a sergeant, okay? So yes, let's salute Second Lieutenant Edward Carl Dahlgren for his World War II service. And that has been the movie Military Moments. Okay. Badass movie Military Moment. I love it. Again, that's my favorite segment of the each show right there. Man, you know what? Because, hey, it's commemorating our servicemen and women that provided us the freedom that we so take for granted nowadays. Some way more than others. Okay, so yeah. Have you seen a clip with Rachel Zegler? Okay, so isn't that the picture of a spoiled, rotten little fucking bitch? I'll tell you, it seems like I think we need to get her in uniform and deploy her to the war zone, Ukraine. Yeah. And check out live chat over here, my good friends. Parmesan carpet cleaning, White House pricing. Yeah, exactly, right there. Yeah, that's why Hunter Biden's new nickname will be Dirt Devil. Okay, because you got Parmesan in your carpet anywhere. Hire yourself a Hunter Biden. Okay, so now you can hire him for the low price of $19.95 a day and get yourself a Hunter Biden, and he will sniff out that Parmesan cheese like a fart in an elevator. All right, so yes, get yourself some Hunter Biden. Yeah, so the last voyage of the Demeter, overall with this movie, I just didn't really think it was that great. Okay, live chat, let me know if you disagree. But yeah, it was, given the subject matter of the movie, I'm surprised that I have to say this, but it was pretty much like the last lullaby of the Demeter. It put me to sleep at several points in the movie. Okay, because there were so many times in this movie, it got so repetitious or repetitive, where we know Dracula's on board, right? And so then you have your one of your crew members, and he goes up on deck, right? He's walking around, he's on watch or something, right? And all of a sudden, what's that? I heard a sound. What is that? Oh, I think I'm gonna walk around. Okay, what is it? Hey, Jock, is that you over there, Jock? Is that you? I better investigate. Okay, I'm gonna go in there, check it out. I'm like, oh, I thought I heard a sound. And then they look in some place, some dark area, like, oh, I don't see anything there. Oh, what a relief. They turn around and there's Dracula. All right, and Dracula attacks them. Okay, and okay, that's something surprising the first or even the second time you see that, right? But it happens over and over and over again in the movie. You're like, come on, like mix it up a little bit, like vary up the pacing, the scene spacing, the whatever, like the you got to write a better movie, okay? And because, especially for a movie where we know what's going to happen, okay? Like Titanic, right? Titanic's a movie where, all right, we all knew what was going to happen. Okay, we all knew what was going to happen. It was going to hit the iceberg. Rose is going to, well, we didn't know that part. Rose and Jack floating in icy cold water, and Rose, being the selfish, murderous bitch that she was, wouldn't even let Jack up on that. What was that door or whatever she was on? We know there was room for Jack on there, but of course she was like, you know what? No. Yeah, I want you to freeze to death. You need to turn into a human popsicle there, Jack. Okay, so that part of Titanic we didn't know. My point being is we knew that with the movie Titanic that we knew what was going to happen, but it was still a good movie. It's very entertaining. Well, we all know with the last voyage of the Demeter what's going to happen. Everybody on the ship is going to die. Okay, at the hands of Count Dracula. And but so in that case, you really have to write a good movie. But yeah, they shit the bed. They pulled an Amber Heard and they shit the bed in this movie. They just didn't make it that interesting. And so yeah, I didn't really find it that interesting whatsoever. But hey, you know what? If you guys going to want to go, if you guys are watching this and you guys haven't seen it, and this is all spoiled for you, my apologies. But if you want to go see the movie yourself, hey, don't take my word for it. Personally, I wouldn't recommend seeing it unless you're like sleeping on the couch at 3:30 in the morning, You're scratching your belly button. Oh God, it's away. I probably should crawl into bed and get off this couch. What is that on Cinemax? What is that over there? What is that? The last voyage of the Demeter? What is it? Okay, it's halfway through it, but I'll watch it. Okay, like that would be the only time maybe you should watch the last voyage of the Demeter if it's on Cinemax at 3:30 in the morning. Okay. I would not recommend this movie other than that. So, okay, let's mix it up a little bit more here after I get a drinky here. Okay, so a little drink for the working man. Oh, yeah, it goes down smooth. Gotta hydrate. Okay, so I just want to tell you guys all about my fave vampire movies. Yes. We're talking about a vampire movie, or more specifically, Count Dracula. Well, you know what? I just saw this as an excuse to torture you guys all with my my 5 favorite vampire movies. Okay, and this is in order. I'm going to start off with my 5th favorite vampire movie here, everybody. And what is my 5th favorite vampire movie? Well, that would be The Lost Boys. Yes, The Lost Boys, the classic 80s vampire movie from Joel Schumacher. It came out specifically in 1987. And as you can see there, we got Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland, Jamie Gertz. We got, who else? We got Corey Haim. We've got what is it? Alex Winter? Yeah, Alex Winter, and then the other guys. I have no idea who the fuck they are. They did The Lost Boys. That was probably their most famous movie they were in. And then they probably just did a bunch of straight-to-video shit and just disappeared. Okay. But, The Lost Boys, a classic that showed us, vampires in a way that we had never seen vampires before. Okay. So it was kind of like the Brat Pack, like the St. Elmo's Fire of Lost Boys, or of St. Elmo's Fire of vampire movies, right? And and Joel Schumacher did take a lot from St. Elmo's Fire because he directed St. Elmo's Fire, and St. Elmo's Fire did play into just the vibe that he was going for with the Lost Boys, and how he wanted his vampires, how old he wanted his vampires to be, like what kind of vampires he wanted. And it's not, I want vampires that are teenagers. Okay. I think that would be cool to have them as that. And as we know, they go to the fake town of Santa Carla, which is really the town of Santa Cruz in real life. And the town of Santa Cruz wasn't too hot about this movie, okay? Because Santa Cruz has the boardwalk and the amusement park and all that stuff that you see in this movie. And but little did Santa Cruz know, how their boardwalk and the amusement park was going to be portrayed in this movie, because it's a movie about murderous vampires, right? So they weren't too happy, like, we're not too happy about this right there. But then they saw the movie, and then they're like, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, this movie kicks ass. So we're more than happy to have Santa Cruz featured in this movie, okay? But this is the movie that really launched Kiefer Sutherland's career. Jason Patrick, I'd say Jamie Gertz as well. It's the first movie with the 2 Coreys. You had Corey Haim, Corey Feldman in this. I think that's the first vampire movie that had a really, I guess really not the first vampire movie that had a really cool soundtrack. It's the first vampire movie that has the coolest soundtrack up to that point, and maybe of all time. There's another movie that I will be talking about a little later on that also has a kicking soundtrack as well. But yeah, The Lost Boys, directed again by Joel Schumacher, who later on did Flatliners, Batman and Robin, and Batman Forever, Phone Booth. He is no longer with us at this time. So, but yeah, Joel Schumacher, he's a prolific director there. But Kiefer Sutherland, he was creeptastic, in this as the initially you think he's like the head honcho of the vampires, but later on we find out, Edward Herman, the guy who runs the video store. Video stores, remember those? Video store. He's the head vampire. Spoilers for a movie that's, came out in 1987. But this is this is the first, I guess, what some people term, I don't term it this way because it sounds kind of gay, but, the first, the erotic, sexy vampire movie. Okay. So, which I would argue with that because another movie that I'm going to be talking about a little early, a little later on, I'd say is the first vampire movie that meets that. So, but you know what? Hey, if you want to think of the Lost Boys that way,
I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
So I don't think of that at all when I think of Lost Boys. I think of just Lost Boys as this cool, badass vampire movie that has badass vampire, moments in it, but it also is funny as fuck, right? Because you get, with Corey Haim and you got the Frog Brothers doing funny shit. They got the holy water and the water balloons, the super soakers filled with holy water, the classic, death by stereo. That scene, that was badass there. And then, you got some cool moments there with Michael trying to get in with the group of vampires, basically just because he wants to fuck Jamie Gertz, right? So, and you've got this cool soundtrack to go with that, with the Lou Gramm music, sail into the night, but then you got other songs in this that Thou Shall Not Kill, that song. Just a lot of great songs on the soundtrack that I'm sure I'm not thinking of there, but and then again, like I said, the humor, you got the old grandpa, and at the end, it's like, it's the one thing that's annoyed me about Santa Carla, all the damn vampires. All right, so that has been The Lost Boys. That's like, my fifth favorite vampire movie. What could number 4 be? Near Dark. This is another 80s vampire movie. And this is one of those movies where maybe a whole lot of you haven't heard of this movie. But if that's the case, you need to correct that fast. You need to correct that, real quick and go get Near Dark. Now, good luck finding it on streaming because the distribution rights to Near Dark, they're all over the place. It's this. Does this company own it? Does this company own it? Does this company own it? Like, who owns it? So that's why you're not going to be able to fire up Hulu or Netflix or Amazon and find Near Dark on there. Good luck. You're going to have to get Near Dark on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, but it's worth it. So get it. Okay. And Near Dark is actually directed by Catherine Bigelow. And Catherine Bigelow later on did Point Break, okay? And she did Zero Dark 30, and so what else she did? She did the Strange Days. She was married to James Cameron for a little bit, so Catherine Bigelow. Most of her movies are pretty kick-ass, and so she did Near Dark here, and Near Dark came out in '87, so the same year as Lost Boys. And this is a movie that, oddly enough, it really plays like a modern day Western that just so happens to have vampires in it. Okay. Now, vampires aren't like a little bit of the movie. They're a big part of the movie. Okay. So, but it's just, that being said, it's kind of weird in a good way that, it's like this modern day Western because it takes place like in West Texas. You got horses and guys wearing cowboy hats and shit. And, you got, shit kicker, honky tonk bars and stuff. And it's just got that Western vibe to it. But then it involves Adrian Pasdar plays the main character. And when you watch the movie, you'll be like, where do I know Adrian Pasdar from in this movie? Like, and when they answer that question, he was in Top Gun. Okay, he was in Top Gun the year before this movie. He played one of Maverick's co-pilots there at Top Gun. And so he plays like the main character in this. I forget, his name escapes me. Apparently I love this movie so much that I can't remember the main character's name. But he's out having a good time. He's pounding some booze and he runs in to this hot girl and he's trying to hook up with her. And he finds out the hard way that, she is a vampire. Okay. And he only finds out when he's trying to get with her and she bites him. Okay. Her thirst must be quenched. Okay. And so she bites him. He turns into a vampire. I think he escapes, runs away, something like that. And because he has no idea what's going to happen, right? He doesn't know he's going to turn into a vampire. He just thinks like, man, this is a fucking freaky chick. She's in some weird stuff, But he gets away. They go their separate ways, and he finds out. He goes out the next day, and it's sunny out. And he's like, holy fuck, I'm starting on fire. What the hell? And so he's walking down the road. The sun is just killing him. He's burning, right? And right before he's really like about to burst into flames, I'm not going to give away the rest of the movie. Right when he's about to burst into flames, totally, he gets picked up by this RV. And in this RV are all these vampires, including the girl that he was trying to hook up with. And the movie really just jumps off from there, where this group of vampires, they're trying to see if Adrian Pasdar's character has what it takes to be part of their vampire crew, right? And Lance Henriksen, he is the leader of this crew of vampires. And Lance Henriksen, you would know him as like Bishop, the replicant or the android, or the synthetic from Aliens. Okay, the guy did the whole knife trick, in Aliens. That's Lance Henriksen. Later on in the TV show Millennium, he played the main bad guy at Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Been all kinds of stuff. Like Lance Henriksen is the quintessential. I know that guy. Who is that? Well, I've seen that guy in a bunch of movies, but I don't know what his name is. Lance Henriksen, okay? And so he plays the leader. And then we've got, what is her name? Jeanette Goldstein, I believe is her name. And she plays like his girlfriend, okay? His vampire girlfriend, his main squeeze. And she played Vasquez, the muscle-bound, very butch, Marine in Aliens. She played Vasquez. And obviously Lance Henriksen was in Aliens, and Bill Paxton, who you see there, he was in Aliens. And now them all being in Aliens and in this movie, as you would imagine, was no accident, because James Cameron just had, he had him in Aliens. He was really good friends with Catherine Bigelow at the time. I don't think they were dating, or they weren't married quite yet, but they were tight. And James Cameron said to Catherine Bigelow, like, hey, you're making this Near Dark movie. Hey, you might want to check out the cast of this movie Aliens that I just did. And the Catherine Bigelow, like, all right, so I'll check it out. And so apparently she liked what she saw, and she picked out Lance Henriksen and Jeanette Goldstein and Bill Paxton from Aliens. And man, they make it work in this movie, particularly Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton is he steals the show in every scene that he's in. He steals the movie. Okay, he chews up the scenery in this. And the most famous scene in this movie is when they visit a bar. This scene does not end up well for all the bar patrons. I will tell you that. As you would imagine when a group of vampires walks into a bar. Okay. Tell me, hey, stop me if you heard this joke. A pack of vampires walk into a bar, okay, with a priest and a Jew no, I'm kidding. Okay, so as you can imagine, vampires walking into a bar, not going to go real well for the kindly patrons of one shit kicker bar. And it's a powerful yet hilarious, brutal fucking scene. And Bill Paxton, he's at his bloody best in this particular scene. This is like the primo scene in this movie with Bill Paxton, but he's hilarious and brutal and intense in the rest of the movie. Okay. And like pour one out. I'm going to drink one for Bill Paxton here real quick. Late, great Bill Paxton. Here's to you. Oh yeah. But Near Dark, check it out. It's a very it's kind of an atmospheric movie as well. It's got a soundtrack by Tangerine Dream. So Tangerine Dream did did the soundtrack for a number of 80s movies. A very synth heavy soundtrack. And this movie is cool because it really puts a premium. It really concentrates on the whole vampires don't like the sunlight and that kind of thing. And so they have an RV. They drive around in the daytime, and they tape up the windows to darken it up in there so they could travel during the day. And so it's really cool. You've got a character of Homer, not Homer Simpson. Homer. He's like this 8 or 9 or 10-year-old kid who's a vampire. Okay. But imagine this: he's been a vampire for centuries, right? So he's got the mentality of an old man. He's centuries old, but he's like trapped in the body of a 9 or 10-year-old, boy. And you could actually, ironically enough, you could tell he's the oldest. They imply he's the oldest member of this group because all of them call him the old man. Okay, there, and so they kind of keep implying that Homer is maybe the one that turned them all. Okay, and so but so there's that dynamic, that's weird about the movie. In here, let's check out live chat here. Master Sweat. Here we go. The other vampire movie, Dear Narc. An ATF agent follows a trail to an adrenochrome factory run by bloodsuckers. Yeah, I would watch that. So let's get that made. Okay, you basically you've provided one good reason why we want that actors in the writers' strike to end. Let's get that. Let's make that happen right there. So yeah, welcome. Hey, Poo Monkey, welcome. I'm glad you could join us here. So your movie sounds dope. Yep, I would agree right there. Rest in peace, Bill. Yep, absolutely. Tangerine Dreams is good music. Yep, I definitely would agree with that. And hey, Poo Monkey, yeah, definitely glad you could join here and contribute to the effort, to the Movies Mac spoiler warning effort. Absolutely. So, but yeah, Near Dark, man, check it out. So, but you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have to like go on Amazon or somewhere and buy it on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever. Or maybe you might get lucky. You go to the bargain bin at Walmart, and if you're not a germaphobe and you want to like rustle through the bargain bin at Walmart, maybe you might get lucky, and maybe 10 feet deep into the bargain bin you'll find Near Dark down there. So maybe, okay. So that's my fourth favorite vampire movie. Moving down to number 3 on the hot vampire charts is From Dusk Till Dawn. Yes, the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino collaboration from 1996, From Dusk Till Dawn. And yeah, this is a movie that, man, I'll tell you, the unusual but cool thing about this movie is you don't even really know, like, if you don't know anything about this movie, okay, and you just like, it's your, if you're a girl and your boyfriend or your husband, like, hey, honey, let's go check out this From Dusk Till Dawn movie. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Well, you go to watch the movie, and you wouldn't even know it has anything to do with vampires at the beginning, right? Because it starts out at Benny's World of Liquor, and you got the sheriff, he pulls up and he's going in there and he's talking to Benny and at the convenience store, and they're just having this conversation. And at least me, when I was watching it, I knew what this movie was before I saw it. So I remember I was watching their back and forth, and it's a hot goddamn fucking day. It's a hot day. Oh yeah, I've been sitting here in the AC all day long, and they're having this conversation. I'm like, when the fuck are they getting into the fucking vampires? What the fuck, And but if you're the wife or you're the girlfriend and you have no idea what this movie's all about, and then it goes from there to George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. They're in Benny's World of Liquor, and they're holding the place up, they're jacking the place and whatnot, and that whole situation goes down. Benny's World of Liquor blows up, and you would never know this is a vampire movie, okay? And it's like a Criminals on the Lam kind of movie, right? The popo's after them, and they're trying to get to Mexico. And it's that kind of movie. It's like it's like a crime drama, crime thriller, that kind of thing. And then just like halfway through the movie, all of a sudden, bam, it turns into a vampire movie. Okay. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? So I can imagine the wife or the girlfriend or whoever, like, who has no idea what this movie is, like, holy fucking shitballs. What the hell? It's not just a crime thriller movie. That guy just got his head ripped off, and that guy just got his arm ripped off, and holy shit, these are vampires all over the place. What the fuck? Like, holy shit, there's a rock band. The mariachi band is a fucking bunch of vampires. What the hell? Like, just so that's one of the cool things about From Dusk Till Dawn is it just, it goes in one direction, one direction, and then it goes the other direction, right? But it does it with like this hard edge, right? This rough edge to it, with a great fucking screenplay. Been written by Quentin Tarantino there. And So yeah, it's just got a very witty, screenplay to it. And this is really George Clooney's first real movie where he got the attention of moviegoers, right? Because up until this point, he was just an ER, right? ER is what he was known for, playing Dr. Ross, right? And I think they were casting, right? And originally they were going to have, what was it, like Christopher Walken of all people got offered the role of Seth Gecko, and then maybe John Travolta, so a bunch of others that got offered it. They turned it down. Timing wasn't right for it, or they were committed elsewhere, that kind of thing. And then Quentin Tarantino saw George Clooney on the cover of Us Weekly, and Quentin Tarantino was like, "Hey, how about this guy right here?" Like he showed like Robert Rodriguez, I think, and Robert Rodriguez was like, "Yeah, all right, that's cool." And Quentin Tarantino back then, I don't think the story is he's not joking, but Quentin Tarantino thought like, hey, you know what, me and George Clooney, we look similar enough. We could be brothers. We could pull that off. And as you can imagine, years and years later, George Clooney heard that story, and George Clooney was like, he had a good chuckle at that one. Like, okay, Quentin Tarantino, all right, yeah, you don't look anything like me. All right. Let's check out the live chat here. I don't want to ignore you guys. Agent XX was zoning out earlier today a lot, playing D4 while listening here. Hey, I appreciate you incorporating Movies America spoiler warning into your multitasking lifestyle. Absolutely. Two movies in one. And then Puma, and that's from Astro Sweat. Pumaki. Tom Savini is in there. Yes, he is. Pumaki. Yes, he is. He plays Sex Machine. Sex Machine, yes. And as you would imagine, he did the creature effects in this movie with Greg Nicotero, and some others that their names escape me, but Greg Nicotero, Tom Savini. Greg Nicotero is mostly known for The Walking Dead now, and a number of other things, but The Walking Dead, a lot of the creature effects there, and the Walking Dead effects there. Agent XX Dust Till Dawn is good stuff. Yeah, it's bueno stuff. Pumaki, and the big fellow who played in the NFL, can't think of his name. Might be Fred Williamson, you might be thinking of. Agent XX Alt Tab, great for multitasking. LOL, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, Kool-Aid! Oh yeah. Astro Sweat, interview with the umpire. There are bats. Yeah, the vampires, they kill people, and they're like, you're out of here. Yeah. Yes, that's him, Pumak. Hey, ding, 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 ding. Hey, a gold star for Moab. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Fred Williamson, yeah, he was in a bunch of blaxploitation films in the 70s, but also played, in the NFL. He's a bad motherfucker, okay? So I should say that implies that I think he's Shaft. That's not Shaft. He didn't play Shaft. That's Richard Roundtree. All right, but yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn, I remember the first time when they're at the titty twister, and George Clooney, and Quentin Tarantino, they just killed some guys, and they see the blood oozing and it's green, and that starts the shit, right? And pretty soon you see like the vampire, she bars the door, and she's like, dinner is served, okay? And then it just turns like this all out bloody, disgusting, gross out, bloodbath, guys getting their heads ripped off and arms ripped off and throats slit, and you see heads rolling across the floor and shit. And I remember like, holy fucking shit, what the fuck? Like, what am I watching here? While at the same time being in amazement, right? And I thought it was so intense and so bloody and so brutal. And then you had the band up there, and the lead singer is playing the guitar made out of decapitated body parts and shit. So it was just it was a sight to behold. Okay, I was just like, holy shit. Just it amazed me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one there. That was pretty much just going nuts and just pretty much Yeah, you bet. And man, there was a bunch
It'll
of
burn and burn and burn.
yeah, just going on there. So, but yeah, they just the killing was going on, man. And so you just went from you having a good time with a titty twister. You got hot ass Salma Hayek on there with with the python and her titties popping out. She's doing that seductive dance with Quentin Tarantino. Sucking on her feet and all that. So that that's where I think we probably first got the idea. Quentin Tarantino, he's a foot man. Well, I don't know why I'm not a foot guy. Gross. But yeah, so it goes from this erotic sensual dance to this just this wood chipper. Okay, this wood chipper of a scene, but it's all the mortal humans, right? In the vampire wood chipper. Okay, so there are a bunch of Steve Buscemi's getting shoved in the old wood chipper in this scene. Yeah, and Pooh Monkey's right. So disturbing. And that blew his mind as well. So just so fucking nuts. And so yeah, I mean, again, you can imagine being somebody who had no idea vampires were going to be in this movie. And then that all goes down, you're like, holy fucking shit. Wow. My God. And then, yeah. So, and then from there, it just turns into a great movie where you've got George Clooney and he's, basically he has to team up with Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis, and they're all fighting together just to stay alive. And where before the movie started out with George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, they were just using Harvey Keitel and his family as pawns, as hostages. And then pretty soon, hey, you know what? They got to coalesce together. Okay, they're a coalition now. They got to fight these the undead, the blood suckers. And I just liked how these bloodsuckers were incorporated into this titty bar in Mexico. And it makes you start kind of thinking, like, what are the origins? Like, what's the lore behind how all these vampires came to be, right? And so then at the end of the movie, that's kind of the cool part of the end of the movie is you see, I guess, what is it? Would it be a Mayan temple that you see at the end of the movie? When the movie's ending, and you got the music starting there. It begs you like, hey, I wonder how this all started. Like how many centuries ago were these vampires created? How long has this been going on? And as you can tell from the ending there with that matte painting of the Aztec temple, like, these guys have been around for a while here. So, and what better way to get fresh meat for the grinder? Hey, make a titty bar and call it the titty twister. Okay. And then of course, this movie has a lot of funny parts in it, particularly you got Cheech Marin, like, welcome to the titty twister. Come on in here. We got snapping pussy. We got apple pie pussy. We got hot pussy. If you can find pussy cheaper, fuck it. Cheech Marin playing one of three characters, because Cheech Marin was in this movie playing three characters in this. He played like the border agent, and he played, snapping pussy. Then he played the guy, the cartel guy that George Clooney was rendezvousing with at the end. The reason that they did that is because that was Robert Rodriguez's homage to bargain basement movies that they had to do back in the day, where they didn't have enough money to hire multiple actors, so they had actors play multiple parts. So that was kind of his homage to that. So yeah, funny, bloody shit in from dusk till dawn. And this launched George Clooney's career, and it cashed in on Quentin Tarantino's notoriety that he had after Pulp Fiction, because Pulp Fiction. So by the time this movie came out, Quentin Tarantino was a household name. Now, when Quentin Tarantino was writing the screenplay for this, nobody knew who the fuck Quentin Tarantino was. All right, barely. Pulp Fiction hadn't been out yet. Anybody who saw Reservoir Dogs, which was not that many people, they knew who Quentin Tarantino was. But yeah, they when he wrote the screenplay to this movie, nobody knew who he was. Okay, actually, I don't even think Reservoir Dogs was out when he wrote the screenplay to From Dusk Till Dawn, because he made a deal with the people that wanted to make this movie, which was Greg Nicotero and Thomas Savini, the creature effects folks. They are the ones that really wanted to give birth to From Dusk Till Dawn, and they were looking for people to write the screenplay. And someone turned them on to Quentin Tarantino, and Quentin Tarantino was like, "Yeah, I'll write the screenplay." And amazingly enough, they only paid him $1,500 for the screenplay to From Dusk Till Dawn. But then Quentin Tarantino, another part of the deal for writing the screenplay is like, "Okay, I'll write the screenplay for you, but you need to do the makeup effects for my upcoming movie for free." Okay. And the upcoming movie that he was doing was Reservoir Dogs. And so these guys who did the creature effects for From Dusk Till Dawn are the same guys who did the grotesque ear scene and from Reservoir Dogs, where Michael Madsen cuts off the guy's ear. Yeah, the same guys who did all the vampire effects in From Dusk Till Dawn did the ear thing in Reservoir Dogs. So it has some useless trivia. All right. Astro Sweat. Man, Astro Sweat just bringing it here with the funnies. The Kim Basinger and Mickey Rourke sexy crack movie, 9.5 tweaks. Yeah. Mickey, isn't that a weird thing? Mickey Rourke, man. Like Mickey Rourke, back in the 80s, man, he was considered like a heartthrob, right? And then now, look at him fucking now. Man, Jesus, my God. Holy fucking shitballs. Looks like fucking cracked out Jabba the Hutt, man. Woo! Poo Monkey. I love useless trivia. Yep. Well, hey, you have come to the right place for that. All right, let me get a little swig here real quick. Good. All right, what are you up to? Vampire movie number 2. All right, moving up the charts. Here to number 2 is Bram Stoker's Dracula. All right, moving up the charts with a bullet. So this is Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula movie. And Astro Sweat, cheers, movies, Merica. Hey, cheers to you, Astro Sweat. Cheers to you, my man. There we go. Okay. So yeah, we got Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula movie here. And this is largely on this list because it is pretty close to the most faithful movie to Bram Stoker's Dracula novel. I mean, it's got, I'm trying to think, like, when you go down like the checklist of things that are in the novel, the only thing that this movie has, because there's a 1970s like BBC Dracula movie that really, when you break it down, is the closest to the Bram Stoker's Dracula novel. It's got everything. It's got all the characters, all the happenings, all the locations, that kind of thing. And the only thing that movie has over this movie is, so there in Bram Stoker's Dracula, there's a location where the Demeter that we're talking about in this movie, okay, where the Demeter crashes into the beaches of England, right? And so the Bram Stoker's Dracula, the novel, they mention a location of Whitby, England, where the ship crashes. Well, this movie, I think it was a movie miniseries in the 70s on BBC. They use the actual location in Whitby that Bram Stoker's Dracula was referring to in his novel to film that scene where they see the ship, the Demeter. Bram Stoker's Dracula does not do that. Okay, but that's the one thing that other movie has over Bram Stoker's Dracula movie here. But other than that, Bram Stoker's Dracula movie is as close to the novel as that movie is. The only thing is this movie is badass and entertaining. That BBC miniseries in the 70s, it's a fucking snooze fest, I'll tell you. Absolutely. But then obviously that's not the only reason I have this movie on this list, because this movie is just like, it's just got the creature effects and the practical makeup effects and Gary Oldman's his performance as the Prince of Darkness in this, as obviously you see there in the picture here, he's licking Keanu Reeves or Jonathan Harker's blood, off the straight razor there. That was like when I first saw that, the very first time I saw the movie, I saw him do that, like, holy shit, wow. I mean, just brutal, just intense, right? And so this movie just gives you Dracula in all its bloody, gory goodness, right? And I just like how in this movie there's so many iterations of Dracula's forms, right? He's a werewolf dude, he's a bat creature, he's a werewolf creature, he's what we see here, basically with the ass cheeks on his head, he's wearing the kimono. And the reason that we see like this form of Dracula here, the old man Dracula with the ass cheeks on his head and the kimono, is the costume designer in this movie actually was Japanese. So that's why you see a lot of kind of Japanese kind of theme stuff in this movie where you don't typically see that in a Dracula movie right here. But you get Gary Oldman. He's great in this as Dracula. And I do like how at the beginning they throw in the made up lore just for this movie of Dracula being Vlad the Impaler and how he was fighting the fight for the church, and he was impaling guys, hence the name Vlad the Impaler, and he was doing all that to win territory and fight for God and that kind of thing. And then Winona Ryder playing his wife who kills herself because she thinks that she buys the lie that Dracula died. Kills herself. That whole storyline that was not in Bram Stoker's Dracula novel, okay, but that gets added in here, and I think that story is fascinating. And that, of course, that starts the whole love story part of this movie, which I thought that adds something to this movie. Winona Ryder, playing a descendant of his beloved wife, and they're playing the love story. They're really playing the love story up in this movie. Astro Sweat. Gary Oldman is the bomb. You damn right. Agent X6. Gary is great in so many movies. Oh yeah, The Professional, The Fifth Element, Air Force One, playing the Commissioner, the Dark Knight trilogy. Yeah, so many movies, so many great movies in there. I'm sure I'm leaving one out. So Gary Oldman's performance in this is great. Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing. Now, of course, one of the claims to fame to this movie is Keanu Reeves in this. Keanu Reeves just gets skewered for his performance in this, where he's doing the really bad English accent. Oh, I've seen good things in this movie. I mean, Dr. Dracula, there's wolves. They're beautiful. What? Oh my God! Look, just like my British accent's probably even worse than Keanu Reeves, but you get the point. Yeah, he just butchers a British accent in this movie. So that's one of the famous things about Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula movie here. But and then also just the pacing in this movie. This pacing just hops all over the place, but in a good way. Okay, it keeps things moving. All right. And it varies up how the plot goes, the events of the movie. It varies it up. Unlike the last Voyage of the Demeter, where it's just repetitive. Bram Stoker's Dracula just mixes it up. It's a smorgasbord of plots and events in this movie, that kind of thing. And it's got a great soundtrack in this movie. It's got the characters in it are fucking entertaining and hilarious, and this movie is kind of it's probably about the closest to straight up mainstream porno in a Dracula movie as you're gonna get. I mean, just with the Lucy character, and she's just like the village bicycle. She gets around, and everyone's had a riot on her. She's just kind of this woman, just this woman who's they're reading the Kama Sutra in this movie, for God's sakes, okay? It's that kind of Dracula movie in this. And it just incorporates just so many cool in-camera tricks, because this movie came out before CGI was really a thing, right? This came out even before Jurassic Park really blasted us off into the CGI age, right? And so they had to do the, hey, he can't see himself in the mirror kind of effect. You had to do that in camera. There's a part where Keanu Reeves is getting ready in the castle, and you see this stuff like dripping upwards to the ceiling, because he's like, looks like some cologne. He's like getting in there. You just see it like dripping up to the ceiling and shit like that. All kinds of stuff right there. I mean, just all kinds of cool in-camera effects that you have to do. Now, Francis Ford Coppola, he originally wanted to do this movie in a way that it would have made even less money than it did. And because remember at the beginning of this movie, they show the battle scenes with Gary Oldman as Vlad the Impaler, and it looks like they're literally just like shadow puppets, like in the background, and it looked really, really corny and cheesy, right? Like, what you can't just. Does this movie cost $10? You have to use shadow puppets? Look really corny. And Francis Ford Coppola did that intentionally because he just wanted to make a movie that celebrates all the different forms of filmmaking ever since, the art form that is movie making was invented. And so he wanted to basically do a lot of the movie with sock puppets or shadow puppets, okay, in this. So can you imagine the reception by Normie Norm to this movie if they walked in the theater and this whole Dracula movie was fucking shadow puppets? So he would have made even less money with this there. But they had to change it up. The studio had to tell him, no, you're not doing a shadow puppet Dracula movie, you dumb motherfucker. Okay, no, you're not doing it. This movie has to make money. And the reason, and they had to remind him of that, and they had a good point, because the whole reason he was going to make this Dracula movie is because his last few movies, Francis Ford Coppola's last few movies before this movies were bombs. They're straight up turds. Okay, they bombed, and so his studio, American Zoetrope, was hemorrhaging cash, and so he knew, like, okay, I have to actually make a movie where people are actually going to want to fucking go see it, and it's gonna make more than $7 at the box office. Okay, and so that's why he had to make Bram Stoker's Dracula here. And so that's why the studio was like, no, you're not making a shadow puppet Dracula movie. What the hell? What is this, Pee-wee's Playhouse? What is this? What is this, the Electric Company on PBS? No, okay? We're going to give you plenty of money to make a cool-ass Dracula movie with all kinds of cool creature effects. Man, we're going to get you Gary Oldman. We're going to get you Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins just won an Oscar for Silence of the Lambs. We're going to get that guy for you. So fuck your shadow puppet movie. Francis Ford Coppola. What the hell? Did you use shadow puppets in Apocalypse Now? Did you use them in Godfather? Come on. But yeah, that's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I know, I'm sure after the show is over with, I'm like, I should have mentioned that about this movie. If I do, I'll put that in the comments. Maybe. All right. Hey, good peoples, we have made it to numero uno in my favorite vampire movie list. And hey, in the live chat, let me know if you think, man, you got some boneheaded movies in here, Van. Your taste in vampire movies suck. Or you're like, chef's kiss there, Van. Your vampire movies are the bomb. I totally agree with you. Let me know that there in the live chat. All right. So if you are so inclined. But with that, numero uno in this vampire movie list, my number one favorite vampire movie is Fright Night. Fright Night. Yes, Fright Night. Okay. And what can I say about this movie? This is the movie that kickstarted the whole vampire movie genre again. Okay. Because when this movie came out in 1985, vampires in movies were typically in there just for comedic effect, okay? Because we were long past the days of Christopher Lee playing, vampire, playing Count Dracula, and Frank Langella played Count Dracula in 1979, and so Count Dracula was like a laughingstock. Vampires were a laughingstock in Hollywood movies. And then all of a sudden, old Todd Holland came out with Fright Night, and he just kickstarted the vampire genre, with a bullet. Okay, just blew it up. It was a nuclear explosion of vampire movies after this. And this, of course, has one of the best vampire performances from Chris Sarandon as Jerry Dandridge in this. We've got, Charlie Brewster in this. We've got Evil Ed as as Pooh Monkey. has mentioned in here. So you're so cool, Brewster. Just great lines like that. I got the character of Billy Cole. I got Amy, played by Amanda Bierce of future Married with Children fame. Just this movie just kicked ass. I mean, it just, and then it had like the great visual effects, the special effects, the creature effects that was done, at least in part by Richard Edlund, from, I believe, from Industrial Light and Magic. I think he's part of that. But anyway, Richard Edlund did the vampire effects, or, the creature effects in this. And he was just coming off doing the creature effects from one movie right before, came out not long before this. You may have heard of it, a little movie called Ghostbusters. That's right. And so, he was coming off of Ghostbusters, and he did the creature effects for Fright Night here. And and he got to use some of the creature effects that he didn't get to use in Ghostbusters. He used them in Fright Night here. And a lot of things that he used in Fright Night that he didn't use in Ghostbusters were things that were just deemed too scary for Ghostbusters. Okay. Ghostbusters was rated PG. It was supposed to be aimed at, kids as well. And so they had some very scary looking vampire creature effects that they use in Fright Night. One example is, so the library lady, right, towards the beginning of the librarian, towards the beginning of Ghostbuster, right? How she turns into the scary looking ghost and whatnot. Well, there was an even scarier version of that library lady ghost, but the makers of Ghostbusters were like, nah, that's too scary for this movie. So then Richard Edlund used that scarier creature effect for when Jerry was deteriorating, was blowing up at the end of Fright Night. You use it for that. So if that looks a little bit familiar to what you saw from the library lady, the librarian in Ghostbusters, that's not a coincidence. That's Richard Edlund kind of taking from Ghostbusters, taking that from Ghostbusters, incorporating into Fright Night here. And then you just got the cool creature effects like Evil Ed, where he's he's changing from the wolf back to human. What an effect there. Billy Cole, getting stuck in the heart, or and him deteriorating with the green goo and all that shit. You get the skull, and he's changing into ash and that kind of shit, So, and then also just this movie's got like this cool kind of music video vibe to it as well, particularly when they go to the nightclub. And Jerry is following them there, and you got Amy and Charlie. They're trying to get away from Jerry, and you got the Jerry. He's wooing. He's trying to get Amy away from Charlie, and that kind of thing. And just that cool kind of music video, modern take on, modern for 1985, right? Take on the vampire lore and that kind of thing. So, all right. Speaking of going to a bar and a club, I got to give me a little booze here. Getting parched. Yep. But this movie is hilarious. It's fun. Particularly Evil Ed. And Evil Ed's got some great lines in this. Again, the aforementioned, you're so cool, Brewster, and and then when he's a vampire, dinner is in the oven. Just this hilariousness from left to right throughout the movie there. And it, like, to me, the highlight was just Chris Sarandon's depiction of Jerry Danger. Just the first time I really have seen like a modern, like, everyday character play, a vampire, that kind of, in that kind of suave, smooth kind of way. And where he's got where he's literally like inviting hookers to his house and he's killing them and that kind of thing. And then we also get Peter Vincent in this movie, and Peter Vincent, the name Peter Vincent, as some of you guys already know, is a play off of Peter Cushing and Vincent Price. Peter Cushing and Vincent Price were like legends in the horror biz, the horror movie biz, what back in the 60s, 70s, whatever. And they wanted Vincent Price actually to be in this movie, but Vincent Price is like, I'm not doing horror movies anymore. I'm past that. And so they're like, hey, let's just create this character. And we'll just call him Peter Vincent. He's on Fright Night. Yes. Hey, I see out of my right eye, beer drinking Trav in here welcoming us. Yeah, hey, better late than never. Good point. I appreciate you joining in here. Yes, and Poo Monkey. I get the Poo Monkey endorsement. I think your list is solid. Yes, all right. Yeah, right. So Vincent Price is like 186 years old. Yeah, and he still looks 10 years younger than Joe Biden. Okay, so come on, man. What are you talking about? Come on, man. What the hell? You long dog-faced pony soldier? Come on, man. Was that a 7-year-old? Is that a 7-year-old? But yes, Vincent Price is like 186 years old. Yep, absolutely. But yeah, Vincent Price. Vincent Price is didn't want to be in this movie, so they just said, hey, you know what, Vincent Price, that's fine. We're just going to create this whole character called Peter Vincent, and he's a powerful part of the cast in this movie, and he kind of gets the whole thing jumping off, right? They use a great plot device in this to keep the plot going. Hey, take a clue, last Voyage of the Demeter, where he doesn't believe Jerry Dandridge, right? He's a vampire. He doesn't believe Charlie, and they go there and they do the whole holy water test, and basically, Peter Vincent lies and says it's holy water, but it really isn't. And I like how Jerry Dandridge, he does a thing where he like holds up the holy water to the fire, and supposedly, if you believe the writers of Fright Night, that's supposed to have told Jerry that no, that's not real holy water. And then he downs the holy water, and Peter Vincent and Amy and Evil Ed are like, "Hey, Charlie, come on, can't you tell? Come on, he's not a vampire. Look, he just downed that holy water, like a Carta Blanca here, right? So, and this has got to be driving Charlie nuts because this motherfucker was just in my bedroom the previous night. He's like trying to kill me. What the hell? I saw him turn into a vampire, you dumbasses, like what the hell? That kind of thing, So, but then, as the scene goes on, Peter Vincent, he notices Jerry Dandridge doesn't cast a reflection in his mirror. He drops his mirror. Later on, Jerry Dandridge sees a shard of glass or a shard of the mirror on the floor from Peter Vincent and that kind of thing. And that's, that launches the next part of the movie. Just great plot devices like that. Ingenious writing, just hilarious. And so that's what Fright Night, that's one of the things that makes Fright Night fantastic. You get a great soundtrack to it. You get the Fright Night song. I can't remember, who's it? Jay Giles band? Is that who does the Fright Night song? I can't remember. Autograph has a song on the Fright Night soundtrack. All that good stuff. I see out of my right eye some words to live by. Shard is better than shart. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, never trust a fart. That's another set of words of wisdom to live by. There, so never trust a fart. So, because it could be a shart and not a shard. So, absolutely. But and then also the Fright Night remake in 2011. It's tolerable, but it can't even fucking lick the jockstrap of the 1985 version of Fright Night. It was just a cash grab of this, and so yeah, Colin Farrell, I like him as an actor, but you are no Chris Sarandon as Jerry Dandridge in this, and so I didn't like the 2011 remake of this. Wasn't a big fan of the sequel of Fright Night here, and then definitely wasn't a sequel or a fan of. Yeah, I think they came out with some really went straight to video sequels to Fright Night, or I might be thinking of the straight to video sequel to the Colin Farrell Fright Night. They've had like 2 Fright Night 2s. Okay, so they had a Fright Night 2 that came out 1987 or 1988. And they had a Fright Night 2 that came out like in 2012 or 13 or 2014, something like that. And that one I think was with direct to video. So yeah, pretty fucking dumb there. But yeah, Fright Night's a great movie. Definitely, unbelievably, if you have not seen Fright Night, What are you watching this for? Go watch that right now. And that's a movie you definitely will see on streaming. Okay, that's one easy to find right there. Beer Drink and Trev. Colin should have stayed in the phone booth. Yeah. So that's funny you said that because, there was a phone booth, the movie phone booth mentioned by moi earlier when we were talking about Lost Boys and Joel Schumacher. Because, Joel Schumacher, who directed The Lost Boys, also directed Phone Booth, which had Colin Farrell, who was in the Fright Night remake. Small world. Absolutely. That is my top 5 vampire movies, everybody. Yes. I'm going to take a bow. There you go. Yes. You're welcome. All right. So let's check out the chats here. Let's see what else we got. Beer Drink and Trev. Great minds think alike. I salute you, good sir. I salute you. Okay. All right. Well, let me let's switch it up a little bit. Remove that, and let's do this. A little slide action here because I want to tell you all about this very important thing. Very important thing here. Let's check. Don't do that. As you can tell, it's very important to not click the wrong thing and delete. Okay, just like it's very important not to accidentally hit the launch button on the nukes. All right, Agent X6. Awesome list, dude. Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. So I think so. I like it. I'm gonna dig it. Now somebody would be like, "Hey, where's the Interview with a Vampire? Where's that? Where's the Interview with a Vampire? Where's some other movies, that kind of thing? Where's The Hunger? But they almost made the list, but not quite. But hey, we're not talking about that now. We're talking about The Bannies. The Bannies is the Till Death Podcast Network award show that kicks the ever-living fucking shit out of the Academy Awards, the Grammys, the Emmys, the Tony Awards. They all bow. They bow to the Bannies. Okay, bow to the Bannies. Sorry about that. I'm trying to suppress a beer burp and unsuccessfully. We've all been there, right? So the Bannies is, our award show, whereas with most award shows, or all award shows, we have some categories, right? We have some cool categories, like the most canceled TV media personality, the most canceled sports personality, so on and so forth. So we have 6 categories like that where you can vote in those 6 categories. And it takes like a minute to go through all 6 of the categories. Very quick. And it's fun. It's good time. Okay. But right now, if you're smart, you're asking, how then do I vote in the Bannies? This sounds kick ass. This is the coolest thing I've ever heard of, like in at least the last 10 minutes. Well, all you have to do is click on the Bannies link in the description down below. Click on the Bannies description. And you just go right there. You just click on that and you'll see, take you to a website. No, don't worry. No viruses. And it's not the Princess Suriname trying to sell you, things to make your hog bigger. No, this is just for the Bannies. Okay. And go there and you just vote in these 6 fun categories. And you know what? Hey, you can make like it's Fulton County in Georgia or Maricopa County in Arizona. Vote as often as you like. Vote early, vote often. Okay, so, and that is the Bannies. And do not let me forget to tell you. So, of course, we're going to have the award show, the Bannies, here in the future. And we're going to do it live here. We're doing it live. Okay, we're going to do it live here. And we're going to reach out to the winners of these categories right there. We're going to let them know you have had a place of honor bestowed upon you. Okay, oh, maybe not a place of honor if you see these categories. Okay, because I don't. One of the eligible contenders in one of the categories are all the hens from The View. Okay, or Harry Sisson. So as you can tell by those mentions, these are categories that are less than flattering. Okay, so I guess you wouldn't really call these honorees. Is that a word? Honorees of these categories. But we're gonna notify them, and then we're gonna have presenters of all these categories as well. It's gonna be a blast, man. It's gonna be a stone cold gas. Okay, so don't miss it. So yes, and Beer Drink and Trev, will it be live? Si, senor. Do it live. We're going to do it live. The Beer Drink and Trev. Live and let die. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop that right now. All right, so that's been the bannies. All right, let's get that off there. What the? There you go. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up, everybody. We're gonna wrap that up. Beer Drinking Trev made you read that wrong. Yeah, it's live and let die, right? All right, so let's move on here, and we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna give you some cool locations that you need to go to. All right, and the first one is www.moviesmerica.com, and that's where you can get the audio only versions of my spoiler free reviews that I do that comes out every Sunday. And now that's you can go there and listen to them there if you don't want to like look at this primo mug right here, this movie, this mug that moves magazines and merchandise. Okay, so this chiseled chin. So if you don't want to have to check out this mug, you can just listen to my spoiler-free reviews at moviesmerica.com or on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, so on and so forth, okay? Also, I'm on Twitter, or I guess X now, and Instagram under @moviesmerica, and that's a good place to go if you want to get links to this show here on Thursday, or to get links to my spoiler-free reviews that come out, and you can see my stupid little posts. I was about to call them tweets, but posts that I have out there. And also a good way to get access to the other Till Death Podcast Network shows as well, because you can see me liking their shows and that kind of thing on there. So, and I'm also on Facebook, so if you're over 67 years old and you still use Facebook, you can, what am I talking about? I still put stuff on Facebook there. I'm on Facebook under Movies America as well. All right. TDPN.locals.com. Told you about that. Our website that has all our cool stuff on there. I'm not going to belabor that point too much there, since I told you about that already. We've got merch. Kids, ladies and gentlemen, we have merch for the Till Death Podcast Network, and you can check that out at the merch store link down in the description. Okay, get yourself some shirts, some phone cases, some shot glasses, some yoga pants there, Beer Drinking Trev. Just all kinds of stuff. You can think of a product, we probably got it down there. Okay. So, we probably got like Bunsen burners and beakers that have the Till Death Podcast Network logo. We probably got it all. All right. Probably got it all. All right. And then also we've got solo.to/Till Death Pod Network, at Till Death Network. And, that's where you can go and see all the links that have anything to do with the Till Death Podcast Network. Okay. If you don't want to hunt and peck all over the internet for all the Till Death Podcast Network's links, you can just go to solo.to/Till Death Pod Network and check them all out. They all. Also, solo.to/Till Death Studios. Why would you want to go there? Well, hey, if you want to get into the content creator game, like on YouTube or Rumble, like basically doing what I do or Ian and Sean do, and you want to add like some flair to your show, like the overlay up at the very top there, or the cool background, or the intro that you saw at the beginning, all the cool stuff you see on Ian and Sean's show. Well, if you want Ian to work his magic and create some stuff like that for you, well, yeah, you go to solo.to/Till Death Studios, and he will get that done for you. Okay. And Beer Drinking Trev, good question. Any Movies America dedicated merch? Si, senor. Again, yes. Yeah, definitely some Movies America merch. Got T-shirts and what have you, phone cases and everything there. Probably some Movies America yoga pants in there as well. If you can think of it, it's there with the Movies America logo on there, as well as the other shows have their merch in there as well. Okay, solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. And that's where you can get to all the links that get you to all things Sean Cav, who does the Sipping with Sean show every other Friday afternoon. So, yeah, if you want to get to all his links all in one convenient location, solo.to/I am Sean Cav. Okay. And in the same kind of a deal here with solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist. This is where you can get all the links to anything that has to do with the Whiskey Capitalist podcast that I know a lot of you guys check out on Monday and Wednesday nights. And so I have a great, I check it out as well. Apparently, obviously, you guys see me in the live chat there, mixing it up, kicking fucking back with you guys because you guys are fucking cool people, man. I'll tell you, you're good peoples. And I know you're really good peoples because you're joining me on my chat here tonight as well. Okay, so let's keep it up. I want to keep this going every week. All right, Till Death Podcast Network. We definitely appreciate you guys checking us out and showing us some love. Okay, all right, and then the solo.to/Till Death Podcast. That's where you. That's a one-stop location for all the links that has to do with the Till Death Podcast that Ian and his lovely bride, Jen, do every other Saturday afternoon. And yeah, check out that show as well. And yeah, that's another great reason to go to solo.to/Till Death Podcast so that you can get the actual time that show is on and when that's going to come on and that kind of thing as well. Okay, so you know what? Hey, with that, I'm going to wrap this bad boy up here. But again, I just want to thank you guys for joining us. And I gotta beat it because I gotta go see Blue Beetle here yet tonight because I'm going to be doing Blue Beetle next week here. So this Sunday I'll have a Blue Beetle spoiler-free review and then a Blue Beetle spoiler warning show a week from tonight. Okay, so I want you guys to come here and check that out. At the very least, if you don't want Blue Beetle spoiled, just have this show playing in the background muted. There you go. Very easy, okay? But hey, as always, people, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody! Hey! I got the police after me. They're coming after me, okay? But I got just enough time to ask you. Just like this video, if you would, and then subscribe to this channel, okay? I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. I gotta tell you. Hey, so before they haul me off, make sure you watch these videos over here, okay? And thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? I gotta go.